Spanish.
Hello and welcome to the 2025 Cyto.gg Path2Pro Combine. This is Combine put together to give support to players who have displayed both the potential and desire to push on to the next level in competitive play. For the cast and desk, my name is Eric Deserex Patran. I'm joined by the Sultry Trone, someone new to me, Jay Beto. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. It's very early in the morning for me, 9 a.m. Sorry, 8 a.m. In the upside down land. But that's right. We're flying through these bands right now. Quick update. I'll talk a little bit about this later on. But different drafting for anyone who was around when we were doing the Worlds drafts. This is a specific pool. You're allowed 2 bands only, and you can only pick champions from a specific pool. Talia, first picked here away after the Azir and Orianna have been banned in the previous phase. I expect maybe a Galio answer to this would be really nice to see.
Yeah, Talia's definitely done a lot of work throughout the entirety of Worlds, to say the least. You know, that's going to be one of the things that's biggest on our mind coming into this match is a lot of these champions that have been played at that event. And Talia does allow a lot of push potential as well as roam potential with the Weaver's Wall, but the answer back will be from Team B. They're going for Aurora.
So this is in the flex pool, which means that it can go either top or mid. Now, that would make sense if it was just a normal draft, but considering the way that the draft is set up for this game, you have to pick champions in their roles. Aurora in the flex tab can go either way, and I'm sure that's something on Team B's mind. Pantheon, to match the global pressure that Talia can output and start off these early skirmishes, get some really nice CC coming into. Xin Zhao,
Yeah.
very standard jungle pickup here. A lot of the jungle pool, in fact, is very, very standard in the last multiple months. Pantheon, Xin Zhao, Jarvan, a little bit of spice with some Kiana, but so far just going for the bruisers in these two.
And to double back to that Pantheon, you can kind of see the potential for a lot of dive right here. People don't really think about it with Aurora, but when you use the Between Worlds, it acts as a way to get to the back line and really start messing them up. Pantheon, of course, you already mentioned it, the global, going to be a big factor in just trying to annihilate what Team A has in the squishy department. But for Team A, Xin Zhao is one of the best at peeling off for that. Crescent Guard can get a
Yeah.
Pantheon and Aurora off your back line pretty easily.
And the other thing about Team B's comp so far is that it is still flexible, right? You still have the front to back potential with the stun from Pantheon, with the front to back potential that Aurora can provide. And you're still able to change your comp at any point, adding in, a front to back ADC or something like a dive ADC if you want to go towards a Kai'Sa, because you do still have, remember, one pick you're allowed to go outside of the allocated pool. Rumble picked up here for Team A. Very strong setup with the Xin Zhao Rumble. Rumble loves these bruiser ADs. And here comes the flex potential that I was touching on before. Rise, more global pressure with the Talia, answering the Talia and pairing with this Pantheon.
You know, it's a shame. Actually, it's not a shame. Galio is within the flex pool. That could have been a potential pick right there just for the double AP answer and to continue that type of global offense that you're looking for on Team B side. The Rise is going to take a little bit more time to scale up. You do have to go those double scaling items, both the Seraphs and the Rod of Ages. You need those both online to really meet the max potential, but it's definitely pretty good damage output when you are able to hit that stage. It just comes a little bit later in the game as we head into phase 2.
Well, now Team B doesn't have any bans remaining, so they will have to cop one ban from Team A who still has theirs remaining. That'll be the Nico, very highly prioritized support, still supports NADCs on the table. I would expect Team B to leave their support till last pick, considering that there's not a whole lot of bans. You can go towards something like a Braum would be quite nice later on in the draft on the 5 pick here, or you could just slam some engage. Go an Alistair feels really nice, a little bit awkward into the Talia, but Rakan, really, really strong pickup as well. Helps with that dive if you want to continue to go towards that. But Team B really thinking about this no ban here that they're going to have to select.
I'm very curious on how we're going to go in the marksman department. I feel like Ezreal might be a pretty high priority right here, especially for Team A to get away from some of this backline threat that Team B are posing. But we'll see if that gets taken away. It is first pick going over to Team B.
And you got to remember as well that the Rumble doesn't offer a whole lot of frontline. So if you do want to pivot off of that dive into a more front-to-back style, the Rumble, a target out of that would fall victim to some catches. It's going to be the Bard here very confident pickup. Now, this is really nice into things like a Rumble, into things like a Talia, and now you're going to want to go towards that Ezreal, like you mentioned before, to get some mobility out of the Tempered Fate. But it's a high execution. You need to be roaming well. You need to be hitting these abilities, and it can be very creative. It can be very detrimental to your team as well.
Yeah, I feel like you have to go Ezreal, man. There's so much threat for your marksman if you don't go Ezreal. And yeah, that is going to be the lock in. So Arcane Shift will get you out of the hands of a lot of danger Team B are throwing your way. The Tempered Fate's going to be one of the big ones that will look to lock you down. So getting some mobility was crucial.
Very important. And another pickup as well that kind of has a really high skill ceiling. It's about how much expression you can provide on this champion. It's not just a right click kiting champion. You know, Corki, something that has also been played against Bard, you would have to dip into your one allowed champion. Speaking of the one allowed champion, Swain support being picked up here for Team A.
Okay, that's interesting. I'm curious how that's going to work out. Okay, I can see it in a sense that it can punish a lot of the short range that we have on Team B side, right? Like Rise and
Mm.
Aurora aren't the longest range of champions. They do have to kind of get in your face. So you are going to get some value out of the Swain ultimate, and most importantly, the Claw that's going to pull a lot of people both, off of your Talia and Ezreal and into the danger zone that could be the equalizer.
Well, this Sivir with a spell shield to protect herself from that claw does feel quite nice. I think the Bard pick actually really nice here because Team A, in my opinion, really wanted Jin here. This comp screams Jin to me. Jin Rumble's great. Jin Talia is great as
Yeah.
well, having that safety as well from this backline access. Yes, the Pantheon's there, but if Pantheon's diving on an unmarked Jin off a vision, something's going on. But the Bard prevents that because he can cancel the Jin very easily. He can catch him out on side very, very easily too. So instead, have to go towards this Ezreal, which is still a really strong pick. The Sivir and the Bard should be winning out in lane pretty convincingly, roaming around the map. But I mean, if Sushi's got something to say on this Ezreal, I'm a listener.
I mean, that's going to be one of the biggest things to take into concern for Team B. How heavily can they win the bottom lane? If not, then that's where things get worrisome because Sivir's a very short range champion and it's all about auto, auto, auto. You need to get those off. And if you have too many threats that are coming at you, like the Xin Zhao, the Rumble Flamethrower, and now this Swain that's in the support role, that's a lot that's going to deny you the ability to just get DPS off. So that's going to be one of my worries. They need to win that bot lane pretty hard.
Up in the top lane as well, earlier on in Cedo, when this draft had started coming out, I did see Cassante versus the Rumble quite a lot. The Rumble wasn't doing the best. Some of these equalizers were very effective, but the Cassante just did so much. Instead, these teams opting to go in a different direction this time, still with the Rumble, but an Aurora answer. And if you have a look at our champions right here, not a whole lot of shared champions for Aurora. There's the flex there, obviously, but I mean, it's something that you really got to be good at, right? You've really got to be
Yeah.
comfortable on even the best tops in the world. We're talking about the Keens, the Zeuses, some of the top laners in the West as well. It can look really good in lane and then really average in team fights. It can really fall short. It's very prone to being ganked. Obviously, it has some massive outplay potential if you've got the skill for it with the Between Worlds, obviously, bouncing around, and it has some really great backline access like you touched on. But at the same time, it's not something like an Ornn where you really know what your role is. You pull up to a fight, you're upgrading your teammates' items, and then you're changing the fight so significantly by not necessarily doing the most mechanically demanding things. This champion has some long cooldowns. If you're missing your combos at crucial moments, you're not getting the damage required, the fight will look so much different.
And now we get a little bit of time to take in the teams that will be playing. You had alluded to it earlier, Sushi. Absolutely fantastic player. It's been great seeing him evolve around Dorado Esports. Even back to the split one where he was just a sub for Double Lift. we had a lot of questions as to can he live up to the potential that a lot of people have been seeing in him. And he's been growing into that role, getting more comfortable. I think another big player for this side on Team A is going to be Hoarder. He was the
Mm.
rookie of the split for NACL last split and definitely showed tremendous growth with his time in Supernova. So those are the two players that really pop out for me for Team A.
I mean, double lift, that's some big shoes to fill, but hopefully those shoes can start to be filled. Over on Team B, I've been watching Fire Mini, the last game that I casted as well. Absolute standout performance. Just solo won the first game on the Azir. Not going towards that. It was banned, right? In the first phase
Yeah.
against Fire Mini. So something to look at, I guess, going further and further into this Scrim series, I guess you could call it. But yeah, 5 Mini, absolute standout player to me. I think Kisno had a bit of a rough one, but could be a team diff. You know, that's something. Sometimes when you're in these combines, you need to do as good as you can do, as well as you can perform. But I really think from last time me watching Kisno to today, I think I need to see more of a step up.
I'm again going to be interested in the bot lane. I think Sushi Minui versus Mobility Rovex is a pretty interesting matchup. Mobility for Winthrop, he's always been one of the louder voices for the team, and he's done a
Mm,
lot of shot calling for the team, which is not that traditional for a marksman to be your shot caller.
yeah.
Rovex also kind of has that type of weight on his shoulders when it came to Blue Otter. So it's an interesting matchup to see two players, how they're going to interact when they're used to being some of the more dominant voices within their squads. And of course, like Mobility is a very standout player and he's a very reliable player when it comes to the marksman role. So having him down there, I do feel like the odds for Mobility and Rovex to win out that lane is going to be up there.
I will say as well that with the champions they've picked, both of them do kind of make sense with what you're talking about. You know, Bard wants to be that playmaker in the mid
Yeah.
game, roaming around, impacting the side maps, shutting out Rumble, catching out Talia if can be, right? But then Siva being able to step up in the front line, be a reliable AD carry with comfort, block important abilities with Spell Shield, but mostly to make sure the ult is ready with the team to send in because yes, Siva does a ton of AoE damage, sure, but against this team comp, maybe not. You know, Rumble, Xin Zhao, there's not a whole lot of, you know, AoE frontline that you're chewing through with the ricochets. So enabling your team to get in there and get involved, Aurora, Pantheon, the um, the Rise as well, it's a bit of an awkward comp, I will say. It doesn't really feel the front to
Yeah.
back a whole lot with the Bard. It's not really a full dive. You could go towards a Kai'Sa if you wanted to go like really, really over invest in the dive. It's very catchy kind of style comp instead, which does work out in favor of Team B as Team A's comp is pretty squishy.
I feel like Team B have to get the first jump. That's going to be one of the main things. They have the tools to get it, right? Pantheon
Mm,
on the back line, Realm Warp as well can really get you there. If it's Team A dictating the start of a lot of this fight, it's a tricky thing for the Sivir. Equalizer goes down. If that's well placed, that can zone out Sivir from really getting into the fight. Same thing with the Unraveled Earth, Seismic Shove. There's so many things that you're going to have to watch out for when
yeah.
your mobility coming into this game. And like even the Xin Zhao, when he pops the Crescent Guard, if Sivir is going to walk up and auto a Xin Zhao, that means you're in
Mm.
threat range of a Xin Zhao. So that's why that's going to be a lot of my worries for the bot side of Team B. That's why I'm focusing on that so much because it's something that is going to be a big factor in this game when you do have a Sivir and the Rise, both champions being very short range and both champions needing a little bit of time to come online.
This is a bit more of a umbrella topic here, but it's something that I've been seeing happen in in worlds actually. When you overinvest in this kind of global style, and both teams have globals, but Team B have two, it comes down to if you can use them to the max potential possible, like a Gen G domestically, I should say now. Um, well, the reason
Ooh.
I'm going to bring this up is that Canyon played Pantheon in that game that he lost and did nothing.
Mhm.
Canyon plays like the best jungler of all time, one of the best junglers of all time, plays this champion. They can't get it done, right? At times, though, they've looked unstoppable everywhere on the map at the same time. We've seen Carrier on Bard, and even in the NACL going into the LCS, you know, Busio great on the Bard. I think that you know Lebrov as well, really good on the Bard. I think that you really need to be locked in to playing together. You need to be
Mm.
using these ults because, as kind of low hanging fruit as it is to say, if you don't use your globals, you don't have ults, right? You get a bit of stats from Pantheon, and obviously Rise gets the extra damage from leveling up his ult, but you really need to be using these ults aggressively, actively, and finding value with pretty much all of them.
We're heading into the game, Team A versus Team B. We already mentioned some of the names that are within this matchup. Don't let some of these names fool you, by the way. They always have some of the more goofy, how do I say this, like gamer tags, as opposed to their like actual names. So sometimes it can get a little bit confusing in that regard. Now, another matchup we didn't really touch on is going to be the top side, AP versus AP. That is Hoarder versus Ariana. And those two players very hyped up. I mean, Ariana coming into this from the qualifiers. Ooh, Flash going to be burned early. That's definitely going to hurt. Could be a place to attack for Kizno. But Ariana coming in early from the qualifiers had a lot of hype around him. And being this like more aggressive top laner, and you're going against kind of the king of hype when it comes to that. Hoarder had an absolutely standout year. And this is one of those moments where like, you have to really match that level of momentum, that tempo that Hoarder likes to set very early.
I'll have to see how that top lane ends up going now that the flash has been burned. Aurora very safe later on with access to the ult, but early game, especially without the W, could be quite difficult for Ariana to actually approach this wave level 1. You can already see a bit of chunk coming out from this rumble, but yeah, this is kind of level 1 here for the Ezreal. Very nice start for Team A. Sushi, like you mentioned, big shoes to fill and starting it out pretty well on this Ezreal bot lane. Sorry, junglers as well, both starting on the same side of the map. Both have Raptors warded, so both teams will know where the junglers are pathing.
Yeah, it's going to be tricky to win that lane. I don't know. You get so much priority when you do have that early Ezreal in the bottom lane. Again, Sivir being very short range, like sure you get a lot of push, but that comes a bit later with some levels and with some itemization. So early on, Sushi's going to have the advantage there. Ariana's got to be careful. Remember, Ariana has no flash. This is very early on, and Hoarder's going to look to push, but this is very hard for Hoarder. Flamethrower comes out, waiting for the overheat to get the autos, and first blood for Hoarder.
I mean, there comes the flash right there. No flash from Ariana, and despite leveling up to 3 early, the early damage from Rumble is just too much to handle, and this bunny gets cooked in the top lane.
That's brutal, man. That's very brutal. Ariana has been a more volatile player, so falling behind early is not going to bode well for Ariana, especially on this Aurora. You want this Aurora to be a backline threat, and if Aurora can't really do much, if Aurora just appear, Aurora die, bad things are happening right now for Team B.
I want to give our credit where it's due. It did say on our sheet it was Hoarder in the top lane, but I believe it is Key actually in the top lane now, seeing that. So, very good job for that early solo kill.
No, don't fall for it. Don't fall for it.
Don't fall for it. It could change around, but I mean, it is a good thing to start off with this Rumble early, right? You've got an Amp Tome, have Xin Zhao path up top, maybe capitalize on the lack of flash again, but Global on Panther, hold on, a dive in bot.
Ooh, Minui just brings the pain, man, and that's going to be a kill. Sushi, Minui working beautifully together, now looking to chase down Rovix. Pantheon coming around the corner. Munchie's looking for some redemption, and he'll find it onto Minui. And, man, you gotta love it for Minui. Minui's always been a very creative player. Seeing stuff like that resulting in a dive is great, but more action now coming through. Skizno looks for Munchie. Munchie gonna hop right on. The 1v1 between the Xin Zhao and the Pantheon. Just gonna go straight neutral.
Well, I mean, it's really good. You got a kill in the bot lane, but the kill went over to the support. Instead, Pantheon roams down, and then the jungler is the one getting a kill here, forcing out Xin Zhao as well. He can't get anything on the other side of it. So this play heavily favors Team B right now.
Okay, I did just see the confirmation from production that it is K. I never really know because some of these players love changing their names, but now we do have that coming in. K,
we also
Dark Zero.
on the wrong side too. So I'm interested to see what happened with some of these teams, because Kizno on my sheet is supposed to be on Team B, but is playing on Team A instead this time. So I'm not sure who this Pantheon is.
Don't you worry. Don't you worry.
Is it Munchie? Might be Munchie. They might have swapped sides. I'm going to go with that for now.
Yeah,
that we haven't got a completely new jungler. Yeah, that would make the most sense. But Dragon is spawned up here. It's going to be a Chemtech Drake first up, which Chemtech Salt, not a whole lot of value this game, not a whole lot of champions that really value that, being below the HP threshold. So I think getting off the table here spells for some high rolling soul action.
I say me and you go on a mission to bully some of our players to turn off streamer mode so they can stop trolling us.
Agreed.
Always a pain, man. Always a pain. But for the moment, we are going to assume that's Munchie on the Pantheon. Dragon going to stop the recall. This is a brutal lane for mobility. I do have to point that out. Being down 19 CS currently. And it's not going to get better for a long, long time. I mean, mobility is going to call, but Ariana once again getting jumped. Flash just came off cooldown and already it's burnt again.
I mean, it's really brutal. You're talking about how hard this lane is for mobility, and yes, they lane swap away from it to maybe get some grub spray, but mostly to just get away from this Ezreal Swain bot lane. But then you've got an Aurora on your top side. That is not a lane swappable tank. And Ariana now trying desperately to get some of this CC, but Pantheon's coming.
Yeah. Big Daddy Pantheon wants to man drop in. Problem is, you're level 5, man. Can't exactly use that ultimate just yet. Realm Warp was available for Mini. He was looking into that direction, but gonna opt against it. Instead, they're gonna call back the lane swap. They don't want to go into this 2v1. It's a dangerous one. With Ariana having flash down, you want to stay in the 1v1. Otherwise, you are dive bait. And Ariana gonna head back to that top lane.
Well, some bodies being presented around the Dragon. Looks like after some group resets from Team A, the Dragon will pretty easily be going over the Team B. Ezreal pathing up to the top side. This is a really interesting one. After seeing Sivir on the wave, we are opting to put ourselves back against this Aurora that still has no flash now. Again, no team piece. If you chunk her again now, very similar thing is going to happen. Grubs spawning very shortly too, so opting for that trade I think does favor Team A here. They should be able to get it for free, but that's a pretty nice chunk from the Aurora.
Leave Aurora alone. Ariana's having a bad day. The moment Ariana swaps back to the top lane, here's Sushi, here's Minui once again, the thing of your nightmares. And this is a play where Kizno, he can head straight up top right now and look to set up a dive. Between Worlds can make that at least a little bit more on the tricky side, but as long as you keep getting this poke damage, it secures that greater chance of a successful dive.
I will say though about this is a really good position to as Ariana, to show resilience and show how you handle games like this. As there's no finds Pantheon.
Oh man, you know how you handle? You call your jungler up and say, please help me. And Kizno's already cutting off that route of redemption. So they use the unsealed spellbook and send Rovex up top to try and quell this situation.
Excuse me, that's banana pudding actually. I don't see no Rovex in this game. But yeah, it's really nice answer here from Team B, sending Rovex up with the Bard, roaming very well. But now you've got a Sivir against the Rumble. These lane assignments for Team B, everywhere they go, It feels like they're losing on the map right now. Massive trade in bot lane in favor of Key. The Grubs will be started off, and Rise is hovering. They do have these double globals. There's the Pantheon ult flashed away from Asila, but these Grubs, 3 of them in fact, are going to go over to Team A.
Ooh, nice flick coming out from Asila. By Mini getting pushed on back, but you really can't continue the aggression on that one as Ariana getting it pulled in by the claw, going for the dive right now. Minui's there, Kizno's there, and Ariana is just watching the shark-infested waters become oh so dangerous. Proxying out the wave to make sure the minions aren't going to get to the tower. Ariana has to challenge, but can't find squat as Kizno will take the kill. Now Minui in a bad way as Rovex and Mobility look to hop onto the Swain. Pantheon on the other side will find that stun and find the redemptive kill.
It's a really nice punch back from Team B, but it's not about the kills. It's about this CS that you're denying from the Aurora, the plates, and the pressure that this Ezreal is allowing. And not only that, but constantly you're forcing Team B to cover for these side lanes, whether it's the Aurora, whether it's the Sivir. Because of how much you're losing in these lanes, you're also losing out on other lanes. Rumble is now still continuing to build up a big CS advantage. Mid is the only role right now that seems fairly stable.
Dude, speaking of mid, Ariana heads mid, and look who's heading on the opposite team. Immediately, Sushi and Minui are like, we're not letting you go that easy. You will suffer. And suffer is the topic right now for Ariana. Again, Ariana is a Volta player, to say the least. So I've always seen Ariana do well when he's able to get leads very early on and just slug it out with other players. But when you're put this far behind, as you mentioned, the CS, the lane swaps constantly putting him in a bad way, it's not going to bode well for the longer this game goes out and you start to get those spikes coming in the mid game, and Ariana is still behind.
On the next Dragon, still about 1 minute and 20 seconds away for Team B. Because you've gotten that first Drake, it feels very acceptable to almost necessary as well to give up this next Drake. Ariana, caught by the flame spitter, takes quite a bit of damage.
Oh, but we got backup this time. All right, all the pigs of the jungler finally paid off. Munchie is there. I will protect you. I will stop your bullying. Going on a campaign right now is Munchie, at least sparing that much. And Equalizer does get out, but does get K's flash. That is something else we can point out.
Ariana does have flashback, and I mean, if that lane continues to go the way that it is, it's not even a full item completed yet, but bro, that's just caught.
Yeah, magical journey, beautiful skill. You know, it gets you out of a lot of tight situations like that, and Rovex is able to slip and slide through the jungle. Had to burn his flash in the process, but that's okay. At least he was able to live. But you can start to see the value of Minui on this Swain, as well as the vision control working in tandem with that. It's making it so hard for Team B to actually maneuver around the jungle without getting picked out by that claw.
Well, looks like the Team A do have massive... Hold on, Ariana looking for an ult here.
All right, Ariana's getting a bunch of damage coming in. And remember, no flash on K. So you can see the reason why Ariana's trying to punish this. But the big problem for Ariana is there's not even a tier 2 component completed. So the damage is not there.
0 stacks on this Dark Seal as well. And I was touching on just before then, the vision control for Team A all around this Dragon Pit after chunking out Rovex and forcing his flash, forcing him to Magical Journey. Wait, here comes the dive.
Yeah, I like this. Flash is down, so punish the Flash being burnt and take down K. That's a kill in the top lane for Munchie.
You have to find these cross maps. When you're losing so heavily on one side of the map, you have to punch back on the other side. Team B, Kizno stepping up. Not Kizno, sorry. Munchie stepping up. Very big so far. It is 1 Drake apiece. 3 grubs over to Team A, but getting some massive gold on this Pantheon. I was talking earlier about you really need to be impactful with these globals, and Deserex, I really think Team B is doing a good job in the first 14 minutes of levying this global ult.
Yeah, all things considered, this could be so much worse for Team B, and I definitely think they've weathered some of the storm. You know, getting the kills on to Munchie on this Pantheon and making sure that he's keeping up is really nice to influence a lot of decisions that was made during the lane swap period if Munchie was able to like take advantage with the man drop. Still, there's going to be lanes behind that you don't want to be behind, and that's going to be the tricky thing. You need to catch those lanes up. Ariana, you're already attempting it right there. Here comes Rovex, able to put down the Tempered Fate, finds it right onto K. K stunned up, and he's going to be put away. Equalizer goes down, but too many members of Team B arrive to the party first. Now Minui will force out the flash of Munchie. Sushi arrives, and with the On the Hunt, flash being burnt, that means escape with the kill onto K.
Again, it's things you were talking about in the draft. This Bard getting active at around the 15-minute mark, impacting these side lanes. Key, no flash, punish on the dive earlier. Let's just repeat gank it. Take him down again. a kill on Aurora, a much needed kill on Aurora. Fire Mini, I will say, has had a quiet game, but is the most CS in the game, absolutely chovying right now, over 10 CS a minute. This Rise, although has been quiet, is going to, already has Roa starting up the stacks, going to eventually become a massive issue for Team A to deal with this late game scaling, and Team B have really punched back strong by punishing Key.
Be very careful when you say chovying, by the way, because that can have a different connotation.
More than one thing right now.
Especially with the latest results, man. That's a brutal way for him to go. Domestic chovying, I'll take it. But yeah, he is farming up a storm, to say the least. And Ariana is starting to see some of that pressure alleviated. That last kill going to Ariana is a great way to try and equalize this goal difference in the top lane. Mobility is getting to the point where he can go lane to lane, clear out the wave real fast, and that's resulting in a little bit of catch-up being played over on Team A's side. But here we go once again. Man drop, followed by the Tempered Fate. It's catching on to Minui. Crescent Guard goes out, but it will not defend the support. Now Kizno looking for a way out of this, going into the wrong direction. Rovex doesn't want to continue the chase, but man, Munchie does. Boomerang looking to take a little off the top, hopping right back in because there's no choice but to go to the gray as the kills go the way of Team B.
Well, Minue gets caught out on this Swain and finds out Mobility's job is actually a barber. As you said, takes it a little bit off the top, a little bit too much off the top, I think. Fire Mini taking quite low here, taking a worse end of that trade, but Herald hasn't been started by either team as Sushi was able to push out Team B and force some resets here. But this Swain pick that was picked on B5 here, and I mean, we had some interesting reactions to it. It's not the most standard thing here at all. And so far, it hasn't really found a whole lot of value. 1 in 3 kills and deaths aren't always the most important thing on support, but I really am not a believer so far in this Swain.
Yeah. Well, you really have to look at the composition and realize that your greatest savior is Kizno. Now, a lot of pain coming out for Munchie. Realm Warp going to be used to try and protect Munchie. He gets out A-OK, but same can't be said for Scylla, who has to back off. Now Kizno going to look for the re-engage onto 5 midi. Equalizer goes down. Burning is Munchie. Over the wall comes Sushi. Will find that arcane shift so critically low, and the flames will be felt. Rovex falls. 2 kills back to Team A, but they want to make it 3. 5 midi gets caught by Kizno. Sushi picks up the kill, and Team A strikes back.
Team A, a much needed answer. This game is so back and forth, SRX. Team B, at least, getting some pressure on the side lane, a full T1 tower to Sivir and multiple waves, but is that worth the multiple kills and 2 towers?
Oh, here we go. Weaver's Wall. Ariana doesn't have a way out, but luckily the Paul Wall's pinching in the jungle. That means he can't find a way in for Team A. But yeah, this is a great counterattack. Jay Beto, I have to give credit for Team A, but also a little bit of discredit for Munchie. I felt like he was a little bit too deep there, and that's what started off that whole situation. And now Team A, gold leads back in their favor.
Yeah, and Munchie, being the one who steps too far forward, pulls his team to answer and help him out. The Realm Warp from Fire Mini was really nice to help, but they weren't able to get out. And Fire Mini also ended up losing Flash as well. It is Infernal Soul this game, which is devastating. Oh, hold on.
Yeah, this is Ariana. We'll always go for the risky plays. It's not going to pay off this time, though, because Kizno is there to meet and match. Now, Kay earlier did burn out Fire Mini from this top side, so this gives Kay some alone time with this tower. Not going to be enough to take it down just yet, but if no one goes up there soon, actually, Kay's just gonna straight up tank it. Tower going down over on the top side. Same thing with Kizno in the bottom side, has no problem taking that. 2 towers for Team A. So this was actually a pretty big tempo swing in the net for Team A.
Team B did get a Drake though. So despite that not outweighing the gold and advantage that Team A was getting from this, at least Team B was able to get something. I think Mobility, you probably could have just like right-clicked away from that, didn't need to spell shield and walk into the True Shot Barrage, but hey, +1 block, I'll take that one. TP in, hold on, here comes Key.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be a big pinch onto Mobility and Rovex. Luckily, you do have the Bard, so you have a way to maneuver around this, but it's 5mini who's in a lot of danger. Seismic Shove looking for 5mini, doesn't get on top of him. Munchie's able to come in with the man drop, looking to help out the situation for Team B. And that is enough of a threat to get Team A to call off the play.
I feel like that could have been a whole lot more explosive. The ward was in a position where he could have gone behind 5mini. Instead, maybe they didn't quite have vision of him because he wraps around towards Dragon side and then through the middle of that entry to bot, and then 5mini able, with some really nice movement, get away from the seismic shove. Unfortunately, Asila not able to get that one, but at least a good punish, or an attempt at a punish, sorry, I should say. Atacant has spawned up in the top lane, and a contentious objective, to say the least, this year. Of recent times, it's been the mind control to lose the game objective, but that has kind of stopped happening a little bit as teams decide not to lose the game over one objective. But then Vade coming out here from Team A.
Oh no, Tier 2 says, hold my beer. As now, we can take the blast plant right over. Yeah, dreams are made and broken around Otacon. It is pretty much one of the most prevalent objectives when it comes to throwing the game, just outright winning the game. It is a big deal, that thing to be up and over on the top side. It does beg a lot of questions as who's going to be able to grab it first, who's going to be throwing out there first. I do give a little bit of an edge over towards Team B, because if they can find the play elsewhere, they don't necessarily need to play around the Otacon. You have Realm Warp that can get you there quite quickly, and that could be your outplay measure.
I think Team B are very close to being spiked. At their spikes. We've got nearly 3 items Sivir. That Infinity Edge is so important for this Sivir's damage. You really don't need a whole lot of pen this game. Some anti-heal for the Swain feels nice. You're very close to this roller procking for 5mini, and level 16 is not that far away when considering that he's going to get an extra level. So if he's able to get level 14 off this wave, then in 2 minutes proc that, you'll be level 15, even maybe 16 if you're farming well enough. Team A have a time right now, 2 items on Ezreal, 2 items on Talia, 2 items on Xin Zhao, 2 items on Rumble. They are way stronger, especially with the gold advantage that they're using to force this Otacon right now. Can Team B step up?
This has been one of the great things about Team A is their vision control. You can see they pushed forward into that jungle to try and deny as much vision as possible. That leaves a bit of time where Team B needs to fight for that back. But still, Otacon being started up, it's too much time, and you got to act fast if you're Team B. Temperfit comes out now, looking to come in. Pantheon's not in the right side of the wall, so Kisno should be able to secure this before he can get in. Kisno will claim it. Minui is going to be the sacrificial lamb. Weaver's Wall comes out to cut out the rest of the exchange, but Rovex might see a way in. Waiting for that magical journey, going a little bit too close. Otacon still belongs to Team A at the cost of Minui.
They do get a support, but they do lose the Otacon. Team B desperately trying to get something back now. The mid tower should fall here as 4 members are surviving.
Oh. Yeah, this is kind of a scary situation being underneath this tower. Pantheon can do a lot of work right now. Tower's getting lower and lower, but 5mini has to bail, taking too many of those mystic shots from Sushi, Magical Journey. And be a great escape. Now Ping's going up to the top side. They want to find K. Looking for K. Realm Warp's going to follow through. Suddenly there's a whole goon squad on top of you. And just like that, K caught with his pants down. Ariana grabs the kill.
Maybe this is domestic Chovy, because that is more like it. That is how you use your global ults to punish a side lane. 5mini, Roa procced, Seraph built. 1 level away from level 16 at 3rd level ult. That's the Rise power spike there. Sivir still a little bit of gold away from this Infinity Edge, but I imagine that it is very close now. You're giving another Drake, so it's 2 apiece.
Oh no.
1,600 gold in hand. Oh, Rovex is caught.
Oh, he's caught shopping. He's caught shopping, but mobility is right there. Redemption comes down. Okay, I didn't know whose redemption that was for a second. I thought it was about to be Redemption Snipe. But enough of a heal to help out Rovex out of that situation. You can't get caught too close to that bush, man. And Asila's
barrage coming. Hold on! Oh!
Sushi snipes him out in the bush. Excellent aim.
That was completely blind as well for quite a while, but hold on, we've got more.
Oh God, it's not over. Ariana's going to take the between world to get to the opposite side. Instead, focuses on to Minui, who's by his lonesome. Mini picks up that kill. Now Munchie will find Sushi. Seismic shove to flick away Munchie. Munchie a couple more mystic shots, but this is becoming complete chaos. This is a mosh pit coming out right now, Jay Beto.
Mobility's sitting on nearly 2,000 gold as well. He hasn't based. I'm guessing he's waiting for a full Infinity Edge. I think that's what, 2,100 for full Infinity Edge after a BF sword. So he just wants it in full. Doesn't want to pay any interest on that. But yeah, it is devolving into some chaotic fights here. Punish on top lane, then a really nice prediction snipe from Sushi. You're saying a player that you can rely on, a player that has some big shoes to fill. And so far, Sushi's doing a really good job of that. And Asila, unfortunately, caught by Ariana, but the gold isn't that far in favor of Team A. It's 2 Drakes apiece, Atakan and the 3 Grubs over to Team A. So they do lead quite significantly in terms of overall value. Have to see if we can get a quick look in at the flowers. What's the flower count from Team A? Equalizers on the Fly Mini though. Should be able to realm warp out.
Yeah.
Just an ult for ult trade. Baron is up. I'm not sure if Team A... So we've got 22 flowers up against.
There it is.
On Team Red. How many have we got on Team Red? I assume it's not that much in favor, you know? It's not exactly like... Well, hold on. Baron is starting... It's 16, so the flower count isn't that much in favor, but no vision here, Deserex. Team A, this is a really nice Baron.
This is easy. Yeah, I mean, the Realm Warp was already burnt away, so that's one tool to actually get inside, and with the Vision Denial that's been fought so heavily by Team A, means that Team B were kind of caught sleeping at the wheel. They didn't know what was happening, and they're going to pay for it now. Man drop coming in. Pantheon's looking for Sushi, but again, it's so hard to catch an Ezreal. Mini looking for K over on the top side. Focus onto the mid lane tower to try and get something back, but Rovex will pay with his life. Now Kisno on the chase. 3 Talon Strike gets the knock up. Another kill found by Kisno, and the hunt is on. Ariana between worlds to get past the Weaver's wall. 2 back-to-back kills. A Baron. They're cashing in on everything, Jay Beto.
And even though Kisno's not on the team we thought he was, I still think he needed to step up. And this game, he has. Team B finally get to their power spike. Level 16. All of these items evolved for Mini. Infinity Edge completed for Siva. They get too greedy. You're still against the Baron, and your Rise was in top lane. And now your base is being broken wide open.
The assault onto the inhibitor. Inhibitor does fall. Top lane play now coming out from Team B as they focus on to K. K getting caught out. There's nowhere else to go, really. Just trying to buy time for the rest of the time to arrive. And it's bought enough time for the counterattack of Team A. But Tempered Fate is one way to try and get that redemption through. Teleport going to be channeled right out of Mini. It does get him out of dodge, but same can't be said for poor Munchie over here as Kisno will slowly chase him down, go on a rampage as he rams that spear right through him. Now the top tower being focused as Team A look dominant.
Beautiful ult there from Rovex. A nice TP out from Mini as well, as Munchie unfortunately has to sacrifice himself for the play, but you're losing so much. This is another tower. So much gold being given over to Team A. 40 seconds on this next Drake. They still have a minute of Baron left too. So you can take a really easy base here, a quick one with the Baron enhanced recalls. You can go down. Yeah, wow. Thank you for production for highlighting that. Rushi is basing on 3,000 gold. I just bought, this is 3 items, Ezreal now. Upgraded boots. Going some lethality, I believe, which is not the most common on Ezreal. But you know what? I'm trusting Sushi with how he's been playing this game. This is Soul Point as well. Infernal Soul Point if Team B are able to get it. It is also Infernal Soul Point for Team B, but I think Infernal Soul B... I think Team B, sorry, want to be as far away as possible. Mobility didn't get the memo.
Yeah, that showed up a little bit late. Was checking the voicemails and didn't even get to complete the call before he was picked off. And it's just getting brutal at this point.
They're not even looking to this. They're looking for the end.
This is not where you want to be for Team B. They got to move over into their base. As Ariana is the only one defending right now. Towers going down. Under attack over in that bot lane. Tier 2 now hitting the ground, getting deconstructed by Team A. Inhibitor tower under attack, coming over the walls. Minui, remember, he has that claw, so you got to stay far away from the Swain. 3-talent strike, it's a knock up. Claw lands onto Rovex, and Sushi will go on a killing spree. Another inhibitor falls. Ariana going deep into the fray, but this is not the right direction to go. A double kill found for Sushi, and this is going to be the end right here, right now, off the flick found of Asila. Another kill. Minui claims that one. 3-talent strike, crescent guard. Munchie's trying to get out, but another flick finds another kill. It's a double for your scumbag support as the equalizer finds the respawn. The last Nexus tower hits the ground, and there's nothing but gray on the screens for Team B as Team A will come out victorious.
Sushi, an unreal performance on the Ezreal. From that snipe earlier on to how well he was playing these fights. Kizno really driving the spearhead of this team forwards to lead Team A to a Game 1 victory. But honestly, the way that they were swapping the lanes around in the early game, there were some stumbles, but Team A looked in control.
Yeah, they looked absolutely control. I mean, Sushi was a stud for this for sure. You played the lane like you should have. You know that Ezreal tends to get early priority. You got the Swain as well. Minui, such a creative player. We've seen that in the past. I remember Minui debuting back on the Fear roster. I think it was like 23 summer. Would pull out a lot of wild picks from the marksman role, mind you, and trade him out with Shochi. Had a very dynamic pull, now taking that to the support role and pulling out a Swain. That is so much fun to see. It actually worked out pretty well because in tandem with a lot of these Talia flicks that you would get, being able to pull in and actually confirm these kills, this bot lane together was an absolute menace.
I mean, what do you go towards next game? Do you ban away the Swain? Is that something that you want to go towards? Do you ban away the Ezreal? Because you've got to go next game, and do we have an answer? What if Minue brings out the Swain again? Do we have something to answer it? Are we capable of dealing with it? Because I think the team comp from Team B, it was a bit all over the place. We were talking a bit about this in draft. It didn't really fill a role that significantly. It had a dive identity that you were touching on in the beginning with the Pantheon. It could kind of have been a front-to-back style, but I think Team B need to get a easier to execute on draft in Game 2. Munchie, an outstanding Pantheon game, so really nice punishes on the key in the early game, but Team A felt like more in control of that game from draft onwards.
Yeah, I like what I saw from Team A. I do think there were moments of brilliance. Munchie was trying his damned hardest to bring back that game. We saw things start to fall into place, but when your solo lane is so far behind, when your bot lane is so far behind, it is very hard to actually come back from that. So hats off to Team A. I'll still take game number 1. Off that note, we are going to take a moment to throw it over a short break. When we return, we'll get ready for game number 2, so stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone, to the Sido.gg Scouting Combine. We're getting into game number 2 between Team A and Team B, made of a lot of prospects within our space, looking to make a name for themselves and potentially push up into Tier 2 or continue performances within Tier 2. Regardless, we are already going through with our draft. You can see that Team A going to ban out a couple mid laners. We'll take away the Oriana and the Azir. Wukong going to be the first pick for Team B.
Yeah, targeting out 5 mini, something that they did in the first game as well. And the Rise, I'll say, didn't do bad, didn't do great either. Didn't really do a whole lot. I would love to see more out of 5 mini. This is a great pickup here. The Wukong, first of all, touch on here.
Ooh.
Great, all-encompassing jungler, but that Yunara has been a very strong pick, even through the nerfs, in almost every region, and especially Worlds.
Okay, it's a strong pick, but taking it on your R1 is very, very risky. I want to see what Team A are cooking with here. If you get the Inara going, like, yeah, it absolutely decimates anything that gets in its way. But whoa, Zyra gonna
Whoa.
be Team A side. I gotta have to assume that's gonna be in the support role, but what a wild pick coming in. Yeah, this has to be Minui cooking once again.
You know what? I'm going to that restaurant because the Swain looked good after. To be fair, I had doubts. I was saying that I didn't think it looked good. It ended up looking great. Well deserved double kill towards the end. Obviously, double kill that was all solo kills, but Minuet. This is something as well. Talk about this Kai'Sa quickly. The picks normally into Yunara have been Varus, Kai'Sa, and Xayah. Xayah's not in the allocated pool, so you would need to go into your one allowed pick. Obviously, Zara is one of those allowed picks for Team A. Kai'Sa here, we were talking about it a bit before last game about dive with the Wukong and this Kai'Sa going the Rumble as well. I think I would prefer a tank here. I think Sion, Ornn, Jack, something that can proc Kai'Sa passive and dive is better. I think Team B here again kind of going two split ways with this comp.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like the Rumble. I am okay with the Wukong Kaisa, but I do think the Rumble might not be able to follow through with the identity that we're looking to set in. Now, I do want to try and dissect the idea behind this Syra because
Mhm.
when Minui cooks, it's always delicious. It's always a gourmet meal. Oh, we're also getting
We
Yone
are
on top of that.
cooking all
Okay,
over.
so I'm thinking right now, like one of the main things is like the Stranglethorns, right? You put out the ultimate, that could be
Yep.
very disruptive for a lot of the follow up that you want to find for a Wukong Cyclone. So that's already one thing that pops out. It should give you decent push if you do get the plants up and you can
Yep.
like just hard shove the wave alongside with Yunara, which already has a lot of splash damage. So this could be a play for priority. At least those are the two things that come to mind immediately for me with the Yone now getting locked in.
Well, with the Alistair ban, maybe Team B think the Zyra might be going into the jungle. For Team B as well, I would love a Nico support. I think that if it is Zyra support, then Nico can answer some of that push, give a more dive
Oh
identity
man.
with the Kai'Sa. I think it looks really good. It was banned away last game. I'm not convinced this Zyra is going to jungle. I think that this is a support pickup considering what we saw last game. But Team B, banning away this Alistair, don't agree. Cassante as well, pretty decent answer into the Rumble. So taking that away, there is still on, and you can't go a Scion because you've already broken your one outside pool champion with the Zyra. So I assume it's going to be on. Could be a Gwen matchup we've seen in the past, but has fallen a little bit out of favor due to the Gwen being nerfed. Wow. So they take the Nico. So it is going to be Zyra support. This is, oh, sorry, Zyra jungle. Yeah, this is a really nice punch from Team A. A really punch in the gut.
Interesting.
I think that you really maybe needed the Nico on 3 for Team B here. The Zyra, it could have been a ploy to get both of them. But then, the Alistair ban comes through. So Team B had to have been sniffing something out.
Yeah, I was looking at solo
What?
queue statistics, and yeah, support is the most commonly played for Syra, but jungle is a close second. So this is a very interesting flex to go with. I do think Nico is incredibly strong for the team fight, and Zyra provides a nasty follow up to that. Now, as we do dial in that Akali is going to be locked in for Team B side, That is an interesting follow up to see for Team B because it follows
Mm.
that identity that we've been talking about. Like you want to deep dive and get the backline carries. Rakan would also play towards that if they do lock that in. And yeah, you're kind of seeing the follow through with what Team B wants to do with their composition.
But then, the question is, what is this Rumble doing here? I feel like if this was a Gwen, if you had taken the ambassador that you hovered instead of the Rumble, if you had gone an Ornn, or you know, taken one out of the allowed pool and got a Scion, this comp is really, really nice. Galio, and this draft is all over the place. So I'm imagining that it's going to be Galio top into the Rumble. That does make sense actually. Yone in the mid against Kali. Now that is a banger matchup. And then Yunara Nico in the bot lane, Zyra in the jungle. I think this draft is a little awkward. They do have mega dive. The Zyra is a little bit out of position here though in the dive. It's got great clear, great objective burn. It has good matchups into Akali, Wukong, right? When they go into all your abilities, they're walking into you. You can really kit dump them. And on Team B, honestly, they've also got a dive comp with the Rumble. So this is a fast paced game, a lot of mobility on both sides.
I do think Team A's works better in the 5v5, and most importantly, it works great in the counter dive. That's
Yeah.
something that you're gonna have to watch out for. If Wukong, Kaisa, Akali, all of them start jumping on you, look at what you have to watch out for. You have to watch out for the Pop Blossom, the Strangle Thorns, the Hero's Entrance, and of course, not get caught out by the Yone ult on top of that. The Oh my god, what's the Yone ult called? It's not Last
Fate
Breath. That's Yasuo,
sealed.
right? Fate Sealed. Thank you. So there's so much that you have to worry about once you do get into the back line. I kind of like Team A because I think the ease of execution is much easier than Team B's. That's not to discount Team B's composition. If it gets on the back line, it is going to do a lot of damage, but to execute that is going to be a bit of a challenge.
I think one of the biggest champions in this game, I mean, actually, you know what, big in lore as well, but in impact in the game is this Galio. The Galio can do so much in this game from an anti-dive, kind of like you're talking about with the
Yeah.
taunt, the dash, hero's entrance. It can dive with Team B's, sorry, Team A's comp. We've swapped sides. Team A's comp. Um, and having a frontline tank into magic damage, right? Remember, it's Rumble, Akali, Kai'Sa. And if Kai'Sa's going any kind of on-hit variance at all, and even if she doesn't, the passive proc will still get a bit of value against the Galio. I really want to talk about this bot lane though. Nico and Rakan, two insane playmaking supports. Um, I've been seeing videos a lot on my Twitter about Carrier's play on the Nico recently. If you happen to watch that game, it was outstanding. I think Rakan can do so much in every game he's a part of. When Poppy isn't in the game, can be an answer into the Rakan as well. But both of these supports kind of unchecked against each other. Not necessarily a counter one way or the other, but they impact the game so significantly, and I think that most of the early game and into these team fights is going to be impacted by the engages that these two supports can find.
Yeah. And to really double up on it, the value that you have of the Galio, this is double AP solo lanes. So
Yeah.
Galio is seeing a great amount of value. It's into an Akali as well, which is not going to be the most painful thing to get through. It's melee versus melee at that point. And you do have a pretty good setup to try and lock down this Akali in the very early stages of laning. So I think the Galio is going to be one of the biggest difference makers in the entirety of this game, to say the least. And again, like the ease of execution, everything that Team A has works really well. To try and give credit to Team B, though, like it's not a composition that's outright countered, right? This is
Mm,
not the end of the world for them. Kaisa is a hard champion to lock down. Killer Instinct, plus once you're able to get the evolution, you do have the invis that you can start to
yeah.
use. Wukong is a very tricky champion to figure out how he's going to engage on you, how he's going to lock you down, because he can also clone out, jump in at any given time. So there's so much that really is working for Team B side as well. It's just the tricky thing, man. You have to actually be able to get that execution going through. If you do, it's going to look good for Team B. If you don't, Team A just completely sweeps it.
Well, also the Akali invisible, right? They've got so much invis on all of their dive champions, which is a bit funny. I want to talk about um this is not something we see a whole lot in League. The double dive, the dive and then answer dive. It's actually something that is seen quite frequently in Overwatch. And what happens in this is typically when you play a dive, the backline becomes the target. So that would be your AD carry, maybe your mid lane. The problem is with Team B's comp, the backline is diving you, right? So this is the Kai'Sa running at you, can go invis, can kill instinct in. The Akali is never a dive target, really. And then Team A also has this dive target. So what ends up happening is it comes down to these teams identifying who the target is. In my opinion, you can go on the Kai'Sa, but some of the biggest targets this game are the Nico and the Rumble, the targets who don't have the most mobility. If these targets are the ones getting dove, and it comes down to can the Nico get ult off first? Can the Rumble get ult off first and do a ton of damage with the dive? Because Rumble Rakan is really strong, Rumble Wukong's really strong. I think the Kai'Sa, the Akali are too fast to really catch without something like a Nautilus or guaranteed CC lockdown, which they don't have. Obviously, any misplays will, if any misplays happen from Sushi or from Mobility, these AD carries are going to get caught. But yeah, it's a really interesting dynamic when double dive happens and who ends up becoming the target in the dives. There's something that can be really pretty to watch in these fights.
Now I'm getting forward from production. This wasn't UJ Beto. This was me. I kind of mixed up the lanes. Galio is going to the top lane, which now I have to reanalyze Akali versus Yone, which I still
That's
really do
fun.
like things for Yone. Like Yone, he's kind of busted right now, man. That's all I'm going to really put out there. The amount of risk you can take without actually like getting caught out because you can just go ahead and jump back to your ghost, right? And
Yeah.
you also have an excellent team fighting ultimate. That's going to be a little bit brutal for the mid lane matchup as that one plays out. You know, Galio's still into an AP, so a lot of the same points stand, but
Yeah.
that does really change up the mid dynamic a bit more.
I want to see no Doran shield, just Doran's blade, Doran's ring, no second wind, just fight to the death. Go lethal tempo, go electrocute Akali, lethal tempo Yone. There could be an option where these players just handshake, sustain, don't fight, and try to take team fights. The two options are play the safer route that I just touched on and try to go for team fights. Now, you don't get an advantage over your other player, right? So you're both even. You'll basically be ping ponging waves, going through sustain, a little bit of poke. Maybe you look for some all interior there, or you just absolutely go for broke and you try to get a massive lead over your opponent. These champions, when behind, don't do anything, especially Akali. If Akali is down 2 levels, 20 CS down like a thousand gold. Yone is just absolutely smashing the game out. It's almost impossible for Akali to do anything. There is a little bit of play for Yone if he's really far behind. He does have CC. But if that isn't landing, again, the dive targets are really hard to land on. There's so much mobility in this game. Yone as well, with the recent builds he's been going, just Bork into shield bow, full crit after that. He's really squishy too. He doesn't get a whole lot of value when behind. So I would love to see these players show some confidence and really go for the kill, go for the lane lead, winning on side lane. But we'll have to see. Regardless, it should still be a massively fast paced game in terms of the
Yeah.
fights because of how much mobility there is in this game.
Now, if we're talking about busted champions, I do want to put the attention over to Nico. In terms of strategy for Team B, that flash is the highest value flash that you can have burnt. Nico
Yeah.
without flash, still very threatening if Nico is able to get in with the pop blossom, but takes a lot of that bite away if you don't have that instant blink to actually hit the back line and lock people down. So I really want to see that focus out of Team B. Try and make sure that flash is always down so Team A doesn't have the initiative in their engage.
I mean, it's so strong that there's discourse, like pretty common discourse now, about whether Nico should actually be allowed to do that in the first place.
Tell me
Should we
about it, dude. Tell
remove
me. Spit some facts. Come on.
should we remove Nico Flash? Personally, I like it. I think it's a skill issue, and I
No.
love it because I don't want to see like Braum versus Leona and no mechanics. I love the creative plays, but I do get it. I'm not a player at this level where these players are really good. They're mechanically superb, and you just get destroyed all game by invisible 5-man knockup. I understand.
Bro, come on, man. Like, you can become a jungle camp and your icon
I
doesn't
don't
show
know.
on the mini map, and you can do this flash shenanigan BS. This is not right. This is not okay. I'm gonna disagree with you completely on that one, Jay Beto. I want that nerfed, man.
I will say some, some of the discourse I've been seeing about it is that in mid it feels a lot more okay, and in support it's just kind of the most rubbish thing ever. You know what? I'm happy to not see it next year. We've had a full year of it. I'm also happy to see it next year.
I'm just gonna say, when we had this little like sheet that was sent out in NACL, it was like, what was your least favorite champion to cast? Mine was always Nico. And one of the reasons is, as a commentator, I get fooled by both the clone and the mimic thing that she does.
Yeah.
The whole passive, and it just infuriates me, man. I keep getting caught. I keep getting exposed. I'm a fraud, and Nico is the one who exposed me.
Well, got a bit on fraud watch today. No, getting caught out by the Nico clone. I will say, props to Mini. Doran's ring electrocute. Absolute based behavior over on the other side of Sealot, going for the more safe option with the D shield and the grasp, which is a very safe, very tanky Yone style. And outside of, having a bit of fun in lane and joking about, wanting to get solo kills, the problem is, Yone's in the recently at least been more of a crit, lethal tempo, focused mid laner, but the tank Yone that we saw earlier this year, I believe it was, hasn't really been as good. It hasn't been played as much, and I'm not sure if this is the right choice this game. From my perspective, at least, I'm welcome to be proved wrong. Heal already used in bot, though. Oh, this is a lane swap, actually. Totally didn't see that.
Yeah, so they do favor the Kaisa going into the Galio over on the top side. Lane swap mechanics should really say that Rovex is going to try and rotate out on the third wave and then look to potentially influence the map a little bit more. You have to be careful because when it comes down to it, you can't really go up top too early. That's why we've been seeing a lot of people like kind of just become a river support at the end of it.
Yeah.
But we'll see if Rovex chooses to go that option or just wants to defend Ariana as much as he can.
Well, this is something that was happening quite frequently at the beginning of Worlds. It's kind of stopped happening mostly now. I think it's more of a Fearless thing. When Fearless is in the play, obviously we're not in Fearless today. When Fearless is in the play and you can get some better lane matchups later on, it's not necessarily something that's necessary. But I was really interested. I was writing a lot of notes about it because I was really interested to see how this lane swap was evolving. We've seen so many different variants of it over the last, year now? MSI 24, I believe, was when they started doing the lane swap and dive thing. But what happens, and we're not seeing it this game, is, it takes a big chunk there. The supports, like you said, will just become river support / mid hovering supports at like wave 2 and just give their top laner solo XP. The issue here is, and this is why I think the Scion or the Ornn would have been way better, Rumble cannot lane swap.
Yes.
I really don't know why we've gone this way, and here comes a dive.
Oh, Ariana, you don't even need the lane swap at that point. This is just bullying. Simple kill
It's
picked
so
up from the bottom lane, back-to-back kills. And yeah, to really pop off on your point there, like, you need someone who's self-sufficient if you are going to look for the lane swap. You need someone with like second wind, an Ornn, a Scion, a Cassante. You had mentioned those champions. Rumble by himself is so prone to dives early on lane swaps. And even with the support of Rovex on the Rakan, you can see it still remains true.
This is like a matchup where the Galio would want to lane swap, right? Get Yunara into the top lane. Obviously, you've got Yunara and Nico, so you wouldn't want to swap for your bot lane, but Now, in the counter matchup, like the Rumble should be doing well early, at least into Galio until he gets on some of that magic resist. Is up how much CS? That's so much. 5 mini getting chunked down in the mid lane.
Yeah, this is
20
like
CS.
This is famine top lane for Ariana. I absolutely hate this. We talked about cooking. Well, unfortunately, Ariana's not getting a meal.
Well, it's actually Kisno who's in the kitchen this time, not Minui. So have to see if this chef is just as good as the last one was, or maybe he's cooking using a bit of some expired ingredients. Hopefully not. I haven't seen Zyra in a while. It's got great clear, really good objective set up and burn, but yeah, I'm not sure about this one.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, it's interesting on paper to see Zyra come on back, but is it expired ingredients? I think that's the best way you could really put it, because we haven't seen Zyra jungle in so long. Like, or maybe it's expired to the point where it's become cheese, like milk or something. But here comes the gank over in the bottom lane. Kisno gonna show up. Plants go down. It is slowing down a lot of the action. Mobility's low. He uses the barrier, but it's still not enough. Feats of Warfare, 3 kills in 5 minutes for Team A.
And we're yet to see if the ingredients are spoiled, but at least we are in the kitchen and the meal is being made. Sushi, beautiful flash away from the grand entrance. Mobility suffering in this lane a whole lot. One of the biggest reasons that Zyra and AP junglers in general don't really do well in the game right now is not because they're weak. Later on in Fearless, they do start to come out. Lilia might come out, a Brand, a Zyra in Game 5, right? The problem is there's so many AD junglers, and Sundered Sky is the best item in the entire game, and Zyra cannot build Sundered Sky.
Hey.
Oh, well, you know what?
Stop
Maybe I shouldn't say that.
Huh? No, completely justified point. When you have a lot of these fighters, it is miserable to try and play AP junglers. Now, the Dragon going to be started from Team B side. See Munchie be the first one there. And this is more of a consolation prize coming out for Team B. It's been a very brutal early game for them. Now Minui focusing over, will throw in the clone just for some shenanigans. This is another thing. Riot said they fixed that. That recall thing still exists. There's so many things I can get on about Nico with, man.
Look, don't listen to Riot. If they say something, it's not true, okay? Look at what they do, not what they say, okay? Because, I don't know, someone's a Nico hater. Yes, someone is a valid Nico hater. Look, I'm a Nico believer, but I know that we've got a Kaiser in the game. Production is a big fan of Kaiser, so I think Kaiser is in a state where, is it, great to go early and Fearless? Maybe not. Is it a really strong ADC that can absolutely carry games? Yes. And it's really fun to play. It's got one of the best skins in the game, and I have to say, Team B are using the skin duo. So Rakan is investing into a little bit of adultery here with this skin choice, we'll say. Don't tell Zaya. But Grubs have spawned, and roam up here from 5 mini pretty aggressively.
You can see Kisno trying to get away from the Cyclone, has to flash instantly. You're seeing the downsides of playing this AP jungler. A shutdown found by Munchie. Still looking for more over in the mid lane, getting followed through by 5 mini. Silly, not Scylla. There we go. Got it right eventually. K now fighting over in the river. Ariana will not really look for much else immediately after that. But yeah, what was pointed out earlier, Zyra in the jungle, very susceptible to fighters, and when Munchie's able to get in the face of Kisno, that's exactly the result you should expect.
To be back here from the spell book for a round 2 of these grubs potentially, but jungle's on the bot side for Team A as Wukong Munchie comes back up to the top to try to check. Nice grand entrance, will hit a clone, and you're not the only one getting fooled, I guess. It is, I will say, I've spoken to some people who say, like, oh, as a caster, it fools me. It fools the best players in the entire world. Like, I saw Jackie Love get caught by a Nico clone fake, and then again as a wolf. Who got caught by that? I think it was, on AL. Who's the ADC of AL? Is it Hope?
Is Hope, yeah.
Yeah, Hope getting caught by the Nocturne one, the clone fake. I mean, everyone.
Nocturne one was
creative
sick,
enough.
man.
That one was ridiculous. And then Kerry's been doing it, and it being a fake. So everyone, he's like, there's inception of the clones right now. But Grubs still haven't been taken yet. Pretty slow. After, some explosive action in the bot lane, we've really slowed down.
I think looking at some of the itemization right now, Sushi is pretty ahead of the curve. Kraken Slayer is already completed, and that's with the call being bought. Look at the same thing for mobility. If we could take a look at the gold right now to just see how much mobility has actually, already Stranglethorn's coming out, looking to take down Phi Mini. Phi Mini will be able to get away though. No kill gonna be found, but Phi Mini still getting that safety. Now, if we can take a look at the gold to check out mobility and see just how far off he is from Sushi. Sushi already has that 200 gold bounty. Now look at this over in the bottom lane. We're never gonna take a look at the gold because someone's always fighting. It's just constantly at it. They're at me. That's the problem. They know I'm looking for something.
They're listening. They don't want to listen to any analysis. They just want to fight. I mean, Grubs now, 2 of them at least going over to Team A. Team B will get 1. But yeah, we should have a little moment here, production, if we would be able to look at the gold in pocket or gold in hand now. I'm not sure if Rakan is going to go for a dive here. Zyra is covering. To be a mistake, we're ghosting in.
We just never get the gold. Pop Blossom coming in. Sushi goes on a killing spree. It's getting nastier. Sushi wants more. Sushi will get more. Sushi is feasting, and we are not done because more chase now coming in as Sushi will set up for the dive, looking for the triple kill. It is found by Sushi. And you want to talk about gold? That is a huge cash in for the bot laner of Team A. You see,
my God.
double, my God. My God. This man is filthy rich.
6,000 gold in 11 minutes, 5 kills. What is happening this game? It's 6 kills in 10 minutes just for Team A here, and it's a one-sided stop right now. Key just finds a solo kill. Again, yes, it's a counter matchup, sure, but it's not supposed to be winning this hard before one item.
501. That's all I'm gonna say. 501, 500 gold bounty. This is gnarly. Be this far ahead. Now Kizno fighting it out. Again, this is the problem. You're so susceptible to a lot of these who can jump on your face, but just call Sushi. Hey, he's rich. He can back you up, no problem. He brings his Mercedes over, coming in his custom yacht, has his own jet plane, shows up, gets another kill.
I mean, he might charge a bit of interest, I will say, but I thought this game was going to be about the Zyra and about some potentially spicy cooking, but it's about the stockbroker Yunara who's gathered all the funds to herself and has Zeal completed. We're going to be at 2-item Yunara almost before their second Drake's even taken. Feats already claimed as well. 13 minutes in, that is a devastating goal. Like, that's a goal lead that either comes in ranked or at the end of the game, when, hold on, Pop Blossom.
Pop Blossom gets flashed out by Munchie. He does get to safety. Rovex on the opposite end getting chased by Sushi. I don't blame you. Get away from Sushi. This man is too rich. You got to go on a general strike to stop this man, take down his company. It's not going to get any better. And now already with Dragon spawning, like, Team A are in the right place, right time. Everything's working out for them. Kizno's in the back pocket. A Phi Mini taunt going on over at the top lane, still setting up for the Dragon. That's going to be the big area to watch. Minui has taken the recall, will not have the Pop Blossom, so not as much potential to take this fight. One of the big things right now for Team B is like, hey, if Sushi has all the money, just kill Sushi. If they can actually take him out, remember the flash is down. That's a fight that could very practically be won.
And I was talking about earlier, when you run these double dive comps, someone ends up becoming the target that maybe you didn't think it would be. But in this game, it can be Sushi. Sushi does have mobility with the dash in ult, but honestly, it's getting to a point where you do just have to send everything you have onto Sushi, and you're also getting outscaled, really. I mean, Mini on the side lane does a bit of damage, but it's Stride Breaker, Grasp, Yone. Like, you don't really do damage to this guy.
Yeah. That was the big risk about taking the Sakali. Going against Yone in the side lane. Like, what he really got? Scylla can really just continue to bring the pain onto Phi Mini. Lucky enough, the ultimate not going off to make that even a worse situation for Phi Mini. But you can see how much control that Team A has around the jungle. They're establishing so many wards and really lighting up this jungle as much as they can. And this makes it dangerous. If you don't have vision control, fight. Oh God, Minui, you can just walk up and do that. Easy Pop Blossom, easy kill for Sushi. That's number 7.
Yeah, the kill goes over to Sushi as well. He already has a 700 gold bounty. That's 1,000 gold if he can be shut down. Okay. We'll swap sides. 5 minutes on the chase. Does have ult available. But we'll opt to just clear out some of this mid wave. Doesn't want to chase into the mega boss that is Sushi right now.
Oh,
that is a lot of gold. Base here, we got a full Runins. That's disgusting.
All right, we know what the game plan is, okay? Team B, call up your family, call up your friends, say, hey, we're all taking a trip to dive the living daylights out of Sushi. Someone needs to cash in on that 700 gold. Again, that's all the economy right now of Team A. Send everyone for that dive and pray you can take them out.
And something that you were touching on in the draft too is that's not necessarily the easiest thing to do. With Zyra, with Galio, with Nico, this anti-dive as well. This comp can turn into a bunker comp around Yunara very quickly. As at least a silver lining here for Team B, they do have 2 Drakes. This is quite big. It's Cloud Soul. Cloud Soul with this team comp, Wukong, Akali, Kai'Sa, Rakan is devastating. Now, you're going to need 2 Drakes, and I'm not sure if Senor Sushi is going to allow that, but
oh no,
struggle luck for PP in as well from Key.
Yeah, Scylla getting caught out for a second there, but yeah, teleport coming out. Now the chase gonna be found over Team A, looking for more kills. It's not enough to have Sushi being filthy rich. Kizno's got to take a bit of the pie as well. Now Sushi on a mobility. Mobility, what are you doing there? Mobility, run! Ah! Okay, able to get out. Okay, everything's okay. Now Ariana, not looking for something, but look at Minui there with the Pop Blossom. Gonna deny any exit through. With that, Scylla able to grab another kill. Kizno chasing on the opposite end. By Mini, there's no escape, man. There's no way out. Kizno, okay, Killer Instinct going on to Kizno. A shutdown gonna be found by Mobility. That is some life brought back over on Team B's side. But Phi Mini, they're just kind of toying with the food before they finally cash in for a Scylla.
Yes, you get a kill on Mobility, but the whole time Sushi collected a tower in mid. That's 2 towers in mid. Correct that. And multiple waves. Can we check the gold now? Because it's ballooning more and more and more. Yeah, Mobility picked up a kill, but this guy is so filthy rich. He just found a treasure chest in the mid lane. And remember, Team B opted for this lane swap with the Rumble that led into the dive that started this roll for Sushi.
And it's no longer just Sushi. Everyone has invested into Sushi stonks, and now the whole team's rich. Shout out to Loki, by the way. Awesome production out here, allowing us to go ahead and monitor some of the stock trading that's going in, the insider trading of Team A. Now looking for the knockup will be Rovex, but K walks out, not a worry on his mind.
Yeah, I feel like I'm watching Wolf of Wall Street here with all these funds that Sushi's accruing, some maybe some tax fraud happening over on this Yunara, but where do you even go for Team B? I mean, all of the enemy towers are up. They're objective bounties. Yes, you've got those 2 Drakes, but you're down nearly 10,000 gold in 20 minutes. The Galio is now really tanky with all this AP, so he's in a great position. The Yunara is getting close to, I believe, IE next. 3-item Yunara in a competitive game at 20 minutes is ridiculous. This is something that you see in ranked. Like, as a bit funny as it is to bring up ranked in a game that is this high level, this looks very similar to a ranked game. 8,000 gold up.
Yeah.
Have to give this Drake, and I really don't see an in back here for Team B, despite you'd have to really find Sushi completely asleep at the wheel.
I think we have to put out some bets. Like, is Sushi going to die at least once in this game? Put it right now. What do you say?
I'm betting no. I would put a good amount of money on this AD carry not not dying this game. I think that as well, it being a good, like a necessary performance. This is a game you have to win. Like, of course, we like here, and we're going to talk about, you know, what are the ins here. But for Team A, you have to win this game. This is a scouting ground, right? We're talking about Sushi replacing Double Lift and being shoot to fill and being a reliable AD carry. This is a game you need to perform on. You need to pop off on massively. And so far, we've seen that Herald now in the pockets of Team A. Adakan has spawned, and I don't think there's going to be any game-losing plays around Adakan, although that would be pretty hilarious.
Production also putting the bid in that Sushi will not die in this game, so we got a lot of Sushi believers, and for a good reason. Again, Sushi is someone who has evolved so much coming into the season. I remember there were some conversations with Sushi about his growth and like the fact that he was not really playing the comfort he should have been playing very early on in Dorado. And as he found that comfort, we started to see the Sushi that we were promised, where suddenly these champions are just the secret sauce for him, where he's finally comfortable once again. And you find them placing around what, like top 4 in playoffs. But here we go, Cyclone. This is the attack. This is the attempt. They want Sushi, but guess what they get? Absolutely nothing. They get decimated. He's legendary now. 4 die and no fall on the opposite end. That was your last gasp. And it is a nail in the coffin applied. Now they're just lowering it into the grave.
Sushi says, I've been a rich man and I've been a poor man, and I'm going to take being rich every time. 9-0-3. It's a beautiful engage from Team B, but it doesn't matter in the slightest. The Pop Blossom was beautiful. The Zyra was beautiful. The Yone ult was beautiful. And Team A are completely stomping Team B.
Okay, walking away. Here's the thing, though, for Team B, like, this is a scouting combine, so even if you do get decimated, you still have to show how do you act in a losing situation? How do you respond to being this far behind? That is showing that you can make the most of a bad situation. Like, even in loss, you can still have qualities that a lot of people, a lot of coaches, a lot of teams will be looking for. I appreciate that they went for that engage. At the very least, they're not just rolling over and dying. They're still trying to find team engages. So, you know, credit where credit is due for Team B, as Minuit just being an absolute pest.
I mean, you did call him a scumbag last game, and maybe that was because of the double kill, but this game, he's been a scumbag for Team B to deal with.
Oh, God. Asilla looking for the dive. So is the rest of Team A. Ariana, get out of there. The tower, it doesn't belong to you. Next wave, that thing's going down, man. Still trying to step up. The clone being placed over by Minuit. Spotting out the rest of what Team A is doing. Yeah, the wave's now coming in. You can see they're buying time over in the top side for Fine Mini to actually play the split push. But here we go. You should have left while you had the chance, because now you have to face the music, and it's being played by Sushi. It's a complete wipe. Fine Mini shows up late off of the teleport, but only to watch his teammates get eradicated.
And Team B needs some noise-canceling headphones, but it's still too loud. Sushi with Minuit. A beautiful Pop Blossom, has flash, doesn't even need to use it. Mini looks very desperate all in. This will be a lot of gold.
Oh, man. Yeah, missing the shuriken flip. That was the end of the play right there. I wanted to see that land. I wanted to see Fight Mini all in. We got to find out. Can someone kill this man?
Now, 2,500 gold in hand. Already has Infinity Edge completed. We're looking at an LDR here nearly, if you want to go that, or maybe a shield bow. It is an LDR. 5 Mini looking onto key, but there's a TP coming.
Man, You didn't need to do that to Fi Mini. That's just brutal at this
Oh
point.
boy.
I think at this point, Sushi can build whatever. You don't even need the LDR. You can go Warbogs. Your damage output is so damn good already.
Yeah, I feel like at this point, the dive from Team B would need like Warmogs, would need Randuins, and maybe then they live the first 5 seconds. But Sushi wants blood.
Oh, that slow is so debilitating, and mobility, I'm sorry, you're just another statistic that is being ticked into the kill score of Sushi.
More gold in his pocket. That's all you are to him. Just a bag of gold. Nothing more than a jungle camp. And another jungle camp, a neutral one at that, being summoned up, the Baron.
Yeah, this is going to be a fast Baron too. Yanara takes it in no time. And exactly, we go away, we go back, and look at that. Baron's gone. Now wearing purple is going to be Team A. They can have their way with this map all they want. They're going to start focusing over on this top side while they sound K over to the bot side to try and respond to the split push coming out. I mean, hey, objective bounties are still on the table, so it's still worthwhile for Ariana to try and grab that tower. But K is going to say, nah, no way, not today.
The Baron is starting to break open the base of Team B, and where is the inn? I talked about this a little bit before. There's a Drake available. It's an objective bounty. You have those 2 Drakes, but Team A just say, we're not even going to bother with these Drakes. We're going to start breaking open the base now. Some inhibitor turrets have been broken, so no inhibs just yet. You're not at threat at losing the game just yet, but with this massive gold lead, I mean, how long can you really hold on? Here's a TP in, and I think Team A are ready to go to game 3.
Oh, yes, they are. And sadly, it is not with the bang. It just might be with the whimper, and it's all because they can stop Sushi. Sushi able to flash back into the back line, falling to about half health. Now already 1 kill getting picked up. Going on a rampage will be Kizno, but Pop Blossom is so big. Oh, Sushi's dead! Sushi's finally dead!
No!
Wrong, it's quadra kill for Kizno. Will he get the penta? They killed Mr. President. Take your revenge, Kizno. Take your revenge. No, Ariana's right there. Go ahead, take it, take it, take it. Chase him down. All right, get the. Oh my God. Ariana's bloodthirsty. The game might be over, but this is a moral victory for Team B. Overall, Team A gonna dominate this game number 2.
I mean, when we're talking about one person dying once in a game, you can really see how that game went. I mean, an outstanding performance from Sushi, nearly getting the pentakill at the end for Kizno, but unfortunately, Scumbag Rumble doesn't want to give over Penta. Wow, I see how it is, man. But
we call someone a scumbag at the end of every game, dude. Sushi. See, this dude was Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's like, come with me if you want to live. And of course, he dies at the end of the movie with his thumbs up and is still a victory. Sushi was an absolute beast, man. 12-1-7. Look at the damage this dude was able to put out. I mean, Kizno, sleeper on that one. He was able to actually get a little bit more than Sushi, but Sushi was just racking in those kills.
I mean, Sushi right now, as a game 3, he's saying, I'll be back because you've got another game to deal with here. I'll be back. Get to the chopper for Team B right there because they had no ins that game.
Yeah, too bad Box on the other team, by the way. He's the coach for the other squad.
I will say that did really start off with that early dive. The 2 kills going over to Team A really sets it off. What I want to talk about here, though, is maybe game 3 goes a similar way. We've seen Sushi play really, really well. Minui as well. Sushi and Minui, for the remaining of the... we've got this game and 2 more sets. So 1 tomorrow, which I'll be on. So I'm going to be talking about Sushi tomorrow. And then the last one, I can't remember who exactly is on that. I know it's a TriCast. That'll be a banger. Sushi and Minui on the same team for the remainder of the Combine. They have been put together. And something tells me that this is the player to look at. This is the bot lane to look at for the remainder of this week. And you can really see why, right? The Sivir, I mean, wasn't the most impactful, but the, it was the, who did he play with you, Yunara? Who was
the Ezreal Swain.
Ezreal. It was impactful. The Ezreal was unbelievable. The Swain was spicy and great. This is more of a like a bot lane you could see at Worlds, and it looked incredible.
Yeah, I love this pairing. Minui and Sushi. This is the pairing I did not know that I really, really wanted. Man, throw Shochi in there, and we have kind of a dream team being shaped up. But this combination of players has been a lot of fun to watch. And their mindset around the game, as you said, to be willing to opt into the Swain and play that out beautifully. Minui looking fantastic on the Nico as well to set up a lot of these plays where Sushi was capitalizing on. It's definitely the highlight of this entire game. You know, he went down at the very end. Hey, you know, you did your best to finally score that kill. You know, Ariana was finally able to show what this Rumble could do. I think Fi Mini did decently well on the Akali, all things considered. But ultimately, this is a bot lane that can't be denied. You got to do something earlier, not on your dying breath, to finally pick up those kills. But on that note, we are going to take a moment to throw it over to a short break. When we return, we'll get ready for game number 3 and more action, more fun at the Cider.gg Combine. Welcome back, everyone, to the Cyto.gg Scouting Combine. We're getting into game number 3 between our two teams, and it's been a spectacular showing from Team A. Especially the spot lane. Sushi and Minui have been on fire all day. Some of the creative picks that they've pulled out, we got to see the Swain out of Minui, and later on, immediately following that in game number 2, just how powerful the Yunara is in the hands of Sushi. Now, the big question is, what can Team B bounce back with?
Well, I got one more Arnold quote for you here.
Yeah.
If it bleeds, we can kill it. Sushi did die at the end of that game. So Team B got to have some at least hope to take down Sushi this game. Oriana first picked here for Team A. This has been banned away, I believe, every game so far. Fire Mini will not be getting the Azir at all. But this time, going the Oriana. Ooh, okay, I like
Ooh.
it. So Team B, mobility, coming in with a bit of swag here, says, I can play the Inara just as well as you can.
Yeah, he's gonna be the one doing the Arnold quotes now. So we'll see if we can actually pull it out. Victor gonna follow that up. I do think it's a powerful pick to B1 Oriana, though. She's been incredibly powerful in the current meta. And it's very hard to sometimes just keep track of her ball and a lot of the chaos that's going on. And if you just leave it there for long enough, it's kind of like, your vision is only movement based. Ball stands still. I don't see ball anymore. Ball shockwaved me. So it'd be a very
Yep.
powerful thing to see. But we'll see what the retort coming is for this next pick. We need to have the jungle locked in. Xin Zhao is an excellent ball carrier, man. Just as long as he's not pressing crescent guard at the wrong time. But that is someone who can get in there.
Yeah, I've seen that a little bit. The anti synergy can come between these between these two champions. But as long as it doesn't, it's a great ball delivery service, like you just said. It's got a lot of long range, and then if it does get focused down after the person has been challenged, then you can crescent guard and take down one or two people that are still left in there. Tristana. Again, we're having some fun here. Sushi bringing out the Tristana against this Yunara. Maybe jungle answer here from Team B. Could go a Vi. Could go towards a Wukong. Oh, the Wukong's banned. Can't throw the Wukong. So I'm thinking Pantheon as well, something that's available. Or, again, game 3, time to have fun. Pick Kiana and flip the game. See how we go. Could go towards a top line here or a support. The Nico, I think, was devastating last game, taking that away this game. But instead, it's just going to be the Jax.
Yeah, Jack's locked in. You're looking to play the side lanes, but you are doing this blind, so that can be a concern for Team B. I was hoping to see a jungle lock in. J4 is the first champion that really comes to mind here. It plays decently well with the gravitational field of Victor, but more importantly, it gets ganking rather early. And that's something you want to do to an Oriana. You want to put an Oriana on her back as soon as you can. Get that flash burnt, because outside of the dissonance movement speed, there's not any mobility that you have left. So being able to get that flash out, get early ganks going in, can stop a lot of that potential for Oriana.
It could also be, as production highlights here, a potential Jax jungle angle here. I think while it can be played in jungle, I'm not convinced that it's maybe necessarily the best pick this game. Into Jinja, you can get crescent guarded away pretty easily. It does allow you to fight very well on top of the Zinzao. Jax's Trundle, is it?
Oh, okay.
Okay. So this makes more sense. This is a jungle pick. You were saying you feel like you want to go jungle here instead, and I completely agree with you. Trundle is a great matchup into Zinzao because the pillar will catch him. He can never get away. You chase him down all game through his jungle and basically solo kill him every time you can. So that's a Trundle. Gotta keep that in my
Yeah.
mind.
I mean, and always keep in mind the bite. That's one of the best things that makes Trundle like a very proficient duelist. His bite stills AD. So
Yeah.
if you're a fighter, you're kind of miserable about that. That being said, though, it's an okay form of CC to try and catch the Oriana in the mid lane. The pillar does have a pretty massive slow on it. Now we're also getting the tank locked in. This is the only true tank on the. Okay, shout out to production for making that crystal clear for our audience, of course. Loki, always fantastic, but I really do like the Ornn in the fact that the Trundle was picked on the R3. Reason being, Trundle, if you do have a Trundle and they do have an Ornn on the opposite side, like, yeah, it's a counter pick towards that, but it's also a good time to just take a big frontliner for yourself. So that will be locked in for Team B.
Yeah.
That still leaves the Nico open.
You can also dash into the Trundle pillar and get a knock up. So you've got a ton of synergy between those picks. Nico locked in again from Minuai. Now, let me check the champ pool list. The Tristana, I would imagine, is not allowed. So that is the one exception. So we will not be seeing any spice here coming out from our last pick here, the top lane. I mean, Gwen is the most obvious pick here, in my opinion.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
It can't be
Um,
Trundle. Maybe there's a mistake here, and teams are thinking that it's a Jax. So I'm hoping we can sort this out pretty quickly. Maybe the teams didn't quite get the memo that this is a Trundle and not a Jax. So
it, it swapped. It swapped. Tell me it swapped right now. Get the drum roll going. Get the drum roll going.
hold
I'm
on.
hearing those.
I'm hearing a no too, and I don't, you know. Anyway, I'm assuming that this Bard is the real pick. And
And
Bessa. Oh, okay, all right, there we go.
what the heck?
Now, yeah, this this does make sense. I think the Gwen is better because I would have preferred more AP damage. You know, you've got Tristana, Xin Zhao, now, and Mbessa. I think that the Gwen would have rounded it out really nicely, but Mbessa still has been a good counter into the Ornn, something that a lot of pro players are happy to go towards. Due to the pan, the way that you actually can lane top as Mbessa too. It's not as good as lane topping against as an Ornn, but you can still do it. It's very flexible, great engage. The Bard, we saw this in the first game, find some good catches, but this time, anyway, on the Nico, it was the Swain last time we saw the Bard. This is a very, again, it's supports impacting the map, impacting the game.
Just want to remind you guys, it's our players trolling us, not our production. So, that is what it is. Yeah. Ambessa. So one of the things I do like about it, you talked about the lane matchup, but we also have to look at it in the macro sense. Ambessa's great at getting on certain backliners. The public execution can really snap onto a champion like the Yanara, which this
Mm,
could be, Sushi saying out loud to the team, hey, when I was playing Yanara, what would really scared me in Ambessa? And I think
mm.
it's mostly catered towards that than anything else. Eventually, Ornn's going to be very hard to kill for an Ambessa, but you can still take out Yanara, so that could be the angle right there. Bard being the last lock in could be also interesting for some of these approaches Team A wants. If you're going too deep with two of these melee frontliners, Bard can very easily catch them with the Q and stun them up and even slow them down from going as hard as they want to. Taking out the backline as well with a tempered fate could also be a way to isolate those frontline divers. Bard has a lot of flexibility with the way you can play him.
Yeah, he sure does. And on Team A side, there's a whole lot of ball delivery services, actually. Xin Zhao's good at it. Nico's not bad at it, right? And
Okay, okay.
Bessa's
Okay,
pretty
give me
good with it
another.
too.
Give me
And
another.
Tristana,
Yeah.
I mean, while
Yeah.
not while not the most common ball delivery service, you can jump in with ball on top of you. It would probably be the most scuffed card I've ever seen, but I don't know. Sushi could do it.
I want to see it, man. Give me the ball delivery Tristana, man. Tristana is a fun champion to watch. Oftentimes they get Tristana in the mid. Obviously, not going to be the case for this one because for the mid lane pull, Tristana's not actually allowed there. But hey, man, if you need a ball delivery system and you're in a pinch, Sushi's already someone you can depend on. Yeah, I know I'm coping a lot here, but still, I want to see it happen at least once, dude.
I think it's good. I think just send your Tristana in and do the ball, do the shockwave. Also, there have been a lot of recently the ball insta on jungler and then flash in. So you can also look towards something like that, regardless of the gap close. But Xin Zhao, such long gap close in terms of when becomes lightning, the audacious charge being enhanced by that. And for Team B here, I know that they haven't had the best series tonight, but I'm not convinced by this comp. You know, you've got the Yunara, which we've seen go really well, obviously. Pardon me. The Trundle has some great answer into the Zinzao, synergy with the Ornn. The Ornn is great, but the Victor, the Yunara, it's a very front to backy comp, and are you going to be able to do that against a Zinzao? Even though you're able to catch him off guard, you can press crescent guard, knock away, the engages, ward off a lot of that damage. And this is kind of why I thought Gwen would have been maybe better than the Ambassador. Yes, you don't have as much dive, but it's such a Gen G thing to do. They used to play this comp quite a lot this year, the Gwen and the Zinzao, and you just buy so much time in the front line. You go into Hollow Mist with Gwen, can't take her out. The Crescent Guard from Zinzao, you swap positions, the same thing happens, and you just are unleashing from your backline forwards. Very front to back style comp with a ton of space buy, time buy as well from Team A. But I mean, the Ambassador's still good, turns into a more of a dive ball delivery service like we were joking about. I mean, my eyes are still in the bot lane. Sushi, anyway, what can we do this game?
Yeah, I want to see how Mobility and Rovex really respond to the pressure that's going to be put on them this time. No shenanigans should be played, man. Don't try and swap up the lanes. Actually, this is probably one of the best times to swap lanes for Team B just because you have the Ornn. But still, I think it's better to not risk it anymore and just try and get this into a more standard matchup. Um, on top of that, I will say I don't hate Team B's comp that much. I know it plays more traditional in the front to back, but I think that's something that's okay given the amount of peel that they have. Bard is good peel, Ornn is a good peel, Trundle is a good peel, and gravitational field, gravity field, Victor W is also really good at just stopping a lot of these like backline divers because it has so much zone control. So I don't hate their composition. I do think it has a very clear identity in what it wants to do. And I do think there's a chance that they can find a comeback in this game.
Again, you're against a Orianna. You've got a Bard. Great side lane attack with the Tempered Fate if you want to look towards that. It's quite good against Zinzao as well because, yes, he has mobility, only mobility to champion. So catching him out with a Trundle as well could be very scary. Bard, one of the best things about this support is that it roams like no other support can do. Oftentimes it can leave a support behind in terms of XP because he's picking up the meeps. I think that's what they're called.
Yeah.
The little bits of XP and mana regen, the movement speed, and if you played Barb, the beautiful soundtrack that plays when you're picking those up. Very peaceful. But catching out Zinzao in some invades, it can be very hard. You really do have to weather the storm as Zinzao in this matchup. And if Trundle decides that he wants that camp, that's his camp now. I'm sorry, you have to go find another one.
Trundle C camp, that is now Trundle's camp. Goodbye. And I think that will kind of add into how priority plays out in this. Um, I don't know. This is a tough one because like Tristana's very low range. Sure, Nico can push ahead, but Yunara has that splash damage, especially when she activates her Q. Bard can also push up quite a bit. With Trundle having priority in the jungle 1v1, this could be the area that Team B look to play from. And if they can expand that more and more to the other lanes and try and take success and run that through, like Ornn plays weak side well. So if
Yeah.
Ornn's getting bodied over in the top lane, hey, that's fine. Guess what? Ornn still has a kit. Horn, go ahead, hit ram team. Very simple. You know, it's a very low IQ champion to play.
This is this low IQ team composition here. Trundle C camp, Trundle tape camp, on hit R, win team fight. I think for Ornn as well, it's a great armor game early. You've got Zinzao and Besser in the top lane, plus the Tristana. Like, great. Plated steel caps game, get some early armor on, get a Kanik Rook and later from the Orianna. This Ornn's going to be super tanky in this game. It might be quite difficult to take him down.
Ornn, horn, Ornn, ram. It's like some tongue twister somewhere in there. But we are headed into our final game of the day. Team B going to be looking for redemption. They've lost the first two games. A lot of that played through the bottom lane of Team A. Seems like this time they'll be setting up for the standard lanes. Again, I don't think you should be going for the shenaniganery anymore of the lane swaps. Trying to keep this standard would benefit Team B. That's exactly what they're going to do.
Maybe trying to get a pardon me. Maybe try to get a little ward out here onto the Raptors, see where Trundle is pathing towards. Remember, if Trundle decides to walk in a little bit later and fight the Zins out on his camp without intervention from either team, the Trundle will just win due to, kit inherences like you were talking about before. The AD steal obviously later subjugates great, the slow. Trundle's just a really strong dueling 1v1. Builds a lot of movement speed. You can't get away from him. He's got the life steal as well, the healing. So, can be devastating. And I know when Trundle kind of started getting picked up after some buffs, it felt really strange. Trundle is getting picked. Like, isn't this like a troll ranked pick? But yeah, really nice punchback here from the bot lane. You were talking about wanting to see an answer from Team B's bot lane, and this is a good start.
Yeah, they're being very aggressive about this. Mobility burnt his barrier right off of that first duel, by the way, just so he could get ahead in some of these exchanges. And it's working out decently well. I mean, look at Rovex. He's not taking that much damage and he's delivering a lot back. Sure, the ADCs win even, but you got to look at the entirety of the lane. And I do like this from mobility side.
I mean, ever since Ghost got nerfed, I think it was earlier this year, much earlier at the beginning of this year, or maybe it was the end of last year, and Barrier has been the play, and supports have started to go heal, obviously due to Spellbook, but it's healing for lane prior, or barriering for a similar thing, barriering for a similar thing, has been quite strong, and it's due to exactly what you talked about. You heal for wave 1 prior, wave 2 prior. I mean, man, this Yunara with the early Q clear and damage is really hard to deal with.
Oh, here we go. Trundle's doing Trundle things. Kizno's having to deal with Munchie. He will have to flash over that wall, but guess who's going to follow through? Oh my god, Kizno's brain is too damn big. Bigger than a troll's brain, I'll say that much, as Kizno jukes him out with the audacious charge.
I mean, the low IQ team comp unfortunately just didn't foresee that play coming through, but he will still force flash out of Xin Zhao and get the red buff invade. I mean, I was talking about this matchup. Trundle C camp. That camp is now his camp. You need to go somewhere else.
Wait. Put the camera on Xin. I really want to see if he got his own red buff. Okay, he did it. Okay. I thought that was like the most miraculous thing if he got over that wall and took the red buff. Ultimately, Munchie's able to grab it, so that still means successful invade.
And it kind of is how this matchup is going to continue to go, right? Trundle gets bot scuttle here. He still has some camps on the bot side to clear, so won't be able to double scuttle. At least for Kizno, a little bit of a breath. Should be able to get that scuttle crab for himself and make this an even first clear, or sorry, an even enough first clear, I should say. As Trundle's taken to base, bought a longsword and the most OP item in the entire game, the most OP component. If you have a look at Team B, they all agree on what the most OP component is in the game.
Ariana, no mana, no health as well. Has about 200, still drinking away. Also has the biscuit. Okay, so we're going to go for the dive right now. I don't know how I feel about this one. Going after Ariana, getting slammed into the skies. Rovex is there. This was a bad choice. Rovex, double kill, easily picked up by Team B.
Really nice lane swap timer there from Team B. Unfortunately, Mobility wasn't able to get the double kill. It would have looked very similar, actually, to the game prior to this one, with Mobility getting some early kills. Last game, it was Sushi. It is on the Bard, which isn't the worst. It's Electrocute Bard, so in the early game, getting some gold and getting that first item on early. It's not terrible, but you would have preferred it on literally anybody else, even on the Ornn. But yeah, Ruby Crystals, very strong item right now, the component. I mean, you can see Team B, as we can take a quick look at the gold. Gold lead for ADC is pretty good, but yeah, that support gold lead. It feels pretty good for the Bard. Yeah, these Ruby Crystals, they are very, very strong component. This is the weak side you were talking about, though. Ariana kind of happy to just sit here.
What is he going to do with that extra gold, man? I mean, right now, my bigger worry is the fact that he has a bounty already. Like, that's kind of not the most fun prospect to have to play around to get that additional gold if Rovex does go down, but still funny none the least. You can see that Kindle Gem getting bought means a little extra health, a little extra ability haste on top of that. Definitely gonna appreciate that because you can roam around this map so much more. It's always so tricky to know where a bard is when you have that magical journey and the meeps and you get the soundtrack, the ASMR. It's just
I love it.
cruising, man, cruising.
It's like you put on like a calming music to sleep to soundtrack on YouTube and bards roaming around the map. Very calming and peaceful. I remember playing it for the first time. It was like, whoa, this is awesome. But I mean, both of these mid laners going towards Roa. So it'll be a very slow game in terms of mid lane. A lot of the damage will take a while to come on. -1, big knock up from Ariana there.
Oh, here we go. Shockwave lands on the 5 mini first to forced to burn the flash to get out of there. Now the chase coming through will catch out Minui. Minui has flash, so not in the most danger. Has to be careful on the timing of it. The clone is going to be enough to get Minui out without using that flash.
Really nice attempt, but with the Shockwave and this build that you're going on Orianna doesn't really do a whole lot of damage, so doesn't end up resulting in a whole lot of anything. Dragon has spawned, but looks like Munchie opting to continue off on this clear. And since that invade, forcing the flash, Kizno has had uncontested clear, able to get his flash back up and has maintained at a really solid pace. So, I don't know, I kind of would have liked a bit more of aggression out of Munchie.
So their support's trying to influence the mid lane. You know, credit where credit is due. Ariana did play that dive beautifully, but I also think it's a dive that you do not make for Team A. It's an Ornn. What's an Ornn gonna do the moment you dive him? He's gonna slam his head into his turret and you're gonna go flying for some reason. And what do you do after that? You die. It was a double kill, easily picked up. The only saving grace is it went on to Rovex. But very questionable decision making to actually try and go for that dive in the first place.
Mobility walks forward there. I believe that might have actually been the ult. I'm not, super familiar with the, our ability icons. It must have just been the Q then, but I'm really surprised to see how dominant the Yunara is still in this lane. Because, Tristana is an ADC that pushes so aggressively with the explosive charge and obviously passive, right? So it's really hard to not push as Tristana. But mobility is up, 15 CS right now, a little bit under that, and really happy to just continue this push off. It is up quite a bit of gold, sitting on over 1k as well.
Yeah, it kind of looks like the ultimate, but basically when you max out the cultivation of spirit, you can see that bar, that's all the stacks. You basically press it and you get the same thing that you get in ultimate. Ultimate just activates it immediately and gives her all her upgraded abilities, which is always something you got to watch out for. As the Shockwave comes out mid lane, 5 mini goes too far, so close, but no cigar. It's going to be Kizno getting the kill on 5 mini.
Oh, if he had any more AP, he would have gotten that trade there, and it would have been so worth. You get both flashes out of Kizno and Asila, but unfortunately, God was not with you on this one, and Asila limps away bleeding on 1 HP. It might have even been single-digit HP there, but 5 mini takes a fall, does have TP, and that fully upgraded Roa now, so we'll start to stack that up. Isn't going towards the tier, so I believe it'll be the the Leandries next, but anyway, back in the bot lane, helping out his AD carry, get a push out here, and this is a pretty late first dragon. No one has taken it at nearly 10 minutes. Both junglers now pathing down towards the bot side. Maybe Munchie is starting up the Drake now. Looks like he's around on that mono. It's probably just a Scuttle Crab, actually, but Kizno is snuck into a bot brush here.
They spotted out the dragon attempt coming out from Munchie. Not a dragon attempt, at least hovering around that area. There's a lot of vision for Team B in that bot side river. So you can tell the dragon's on their mind. Trundle's one of the best solo dragon takers you could possibly have. And if they can get priority for him, it's going to be an easy pickup. Now the fight going off. Oh, a nice flash coming out of Orianna.
Wow.
Predicts the public execution. Coming in, slam, jam. Thank you, ma'am. Feats of warfare belong to Team B.
I mean, it's a 1-for-1, but that was absolutely disgusting. Ariana swags on key there, flashes the ult to the side, still finds the knockup from the ult, gets the solo kill, and this is a matchup that Bess is supposed to win. I think Ariana has done a great job in this lane so far of not falling behind too much in these lane swaps and finding an amazing solo kill timer. Sealer, oh, by the stun.
Yeah, no stun coming through. Sela will get out. But yeah, I mean, even though, you know, Kay's supposed to get the better, guess what happens when you dive a weak side king? We love our weak side kings out here, and Ariana is looking completely great with that because Ornn handles dives quite easily. And with that income, that economy now really starting to rack up, you can see the armor's online. You can see the plated boots have now been picked up, so that's going to even make it harder for Kay to get through onto this Ornn. And that's a very scary prospect when Ornn's already nearing a pretty unkillable status for Kay to deal with.
And you're talking about how well Ornn does when he's being dove, he just slams his head into the tower and knocks you up, but that's the same thing when he dives, right?
Yeah.
Ornn will knock you up on the tower. The dragon still hasn't been started. We've got a lot of members passing down to the bot lane, but neither team feels comfortable enough or confident to start this Drake up. This is a very late first Drake. It's going to make Seoul a long way away.
Taking a look at the gold right now, we're pretty much almost even, about 300 gold separating the teams. Looking where that gold's allocated. Again, almost even across the board. That advantage that Team B does have in gold is mostly allocated from the double kill that Rovex did pick up. So this is still anyone's game for sure.
And the crucial part about that is that the little gold lead that there is on a support, right? It's not really a whole big deal. And finally, we will be getting the first Drake being started up by Team B. Secured, it'll be a Mountain Drake, which feels pretty good on Ornn. Just one singular Mountain Drake really helps, but keep finding some fight back in this lane. Herald will spawn in not that long, you know, a couple of 2.5 minutes here. 3 grubs were over to Team A earlier, and the first Drake, that's a lot of damage out from Tristana. So this lane is getting a bit easier. We could be looking for a dive here.
Oh man, okay. You know, first we don't succeed, try again. Public execution comes up. It's Mark, here comes the Pop Blossom, unstoppable. Not enough, but here comes Rovex once again, looking to rack up one more kill. Every time top lane, Rovex is cashing in. Still gonna be a benefit over towards Team A because that is support gold. Whereas in the opposite end, get the gold onto one of your laners.
Yeah, really nice kill there. Really good dive as well. Hard, no minions. You're diving into Ornn. You know, you've been touching on this, how difficult it can be to dive in Ornn, but with the perfectly placed public execution, CC was layered really well, and I mean, that one's not unfortunate. It goes over to Bard. He was the only one there, but I mean, it's 3 kills onto Bard. Most of your, like, this gold lead now is still on the Bard.
Just, man, just get a death cap, Rovex. Screw it. Get a Linchpin. Get something.
Go an ARAM build.
To this gold, man. Yeah, go an ARAM build. 3-0-0. That's insane for a Bard this early.
Yeah. He's also still, somehow, Bard is down 2 levels. Oh no, I'm getting baited because Minua is copying as somebody else. He's the Tristana. Right one down for me. +1 Minua, -1.
If that may happen. Yeah, there you go. It's going to get everyone. Now you understand my pain as mobility slugs it out with Sushi. Sushi is doing okay with a lot of these exchanges. Like, once the cultivation comes out, actually got to hold that thought because here comes the Ornn Horn looking for Sushi. Sushi's able to get away from it. Ariana going to whiff that shot. That would have been the call to dive, but Sushi's going to be fine. And now Kay getting alone time with this tower.
Yeah, but hard to get that. Nice attempt from Ariana, but I believe it was blind. No vision there. Obviously, you can't exactly see what their vision was. But yeah, Key getting some free time in this tower with the 3 grubs as well. Should be able to take this tower down, at least on the next wave. Key not wanting to overdive, as there might have been a roam up from Team B. Sealer fighting the all-in.
And here we go. Minui getting focused on. Pop Blossom comes out. There is no flash for Minui, so that means no chance to escape grasp of the Troll King. Ariana duking it out over on the top wave, looking to lead that wave as far forward as possible to get priority for this take on the top objective.
Well, that's how you take down this Nico. Yes, it can be OP, but if you find Nico by herself in the jungle, there's really not a whole lot Nico can do as well, especially, if you catch out her invisible and deny her the access of getting out. Herald will be taken by Team B, and after some nice dives here and, you know, some good kills over to Bard, the game is like, hold on, public execution.
Oh yeah, public execution, looking for the kill onto Ariana. Ariana forced to burn flash, have no choice right there. K might just destroy the tower outright. Actually, the tower's taking a little bit too much time, but Ariana with 0 mana can't go for the counter offensive. There was a chance there, but the mana bar said no.
Yeah, that was a bit, I wasn't sure if that was a misclick and Key was going to go for Ariana, but his nose looking. He's sniffing around in the bot side here, maybe looking for a dive, but instead just going to push out the Bard from this roam. And next Drake is 1 minute away due to how late that first dragon was, but Mino has caught again.
The cultivation there means it's going to be an instant kill. Mobility will take that, look to chase down Sushi, who rocket jumps away. Now, I will say I like some of the trades that Sushi has been doing with mobility, but this is where those trades are no longer going to be in the benefit of Sushi. Typically, you know, you pop that E, you get the full combo on, it kind of makes up for the damage from the Cultivation of Spirit. Now the focus over here down in the bot lane, Tempered Fate comes out. Kizno looking to try and get the kill on Phi Mini, using that Crescent Guard beautifully, but the flash out of Phi Mini means that Kizno is in too deep. He's trying to keep all the blood in his head, but unfortunately, that Trundle right there just bit it right on out. Horn gets the knock up on the K. K gets knocked up once again as Ariana Ram do thing, Ram slam head, knock up, gravitational filled. Phi Mini will just follow through with the crowd control, and this is so much gained by Team B.
Yeah, massive amount of gold here. Finally on some important members. A kill over to Mobility. 2 kills now over to this Trundle. Feeling very, very nice with the gold from that play. Although Bard is 4-0-3, which is hilarious. I will say, however, we're joking about this, you know, low IQ comp, but it kind of is, right? It's a very stat checky comp. They're going to right click you, and you have to outplay the Trundle right clicking you. And Kizno goes in on Phi Mini. Phi Mini lives, flashes away, and now you've got no dash as a Zinzao against a Trundle, and he just eats you alive.
It was a valiant attempt to try and take down Phi Mini, but that's where like flash timers really play a big factor. And not knowing that Phi Mini still had his flash meant you overcommitted to a pretty much doomed engaged right there. Gold lead still going to be slightly in favor by just over a K for Team B, which is starting to get scary now because a lot of those kills went to mobility. So what do? You got to kill mobility. We've talked about this. Take down that damn Yanara, and that's exactly what Sushi will do. Now the follow through, looking for Ariana. Wind becomes lightning, lands on the back. Pop Blossom gonna find the knock up. It locks down Ariana for a little bit longer, but a beautiful Tempered Fate from Rovex gets everyone but Ariana, allowing for the escape.
This Yanara is not the same as the last Yanara. Hold on, Kizno face checking.
Oh yeah, here we go, chomping away at the face of Kizno. Munchie will take exactly that, a munch out of this squad. Horn goes wide. K now jumping in public execution, finding his mark onto the Victor. Phi Mini in a bad way as he gets caught by the shockwave as well. But there's enough time bought. Health bar is too low as K's looking to clean up, gets out of the gravitational field. Still there is Asila, but can't grab any more. A counterpunch going to be found on the side of Team B.
And after all that, it's what, a 1-for-1? Jungle falls down for Team A, top lane falls down for Team B. Some really nice teleports in from both Key and Asila to save that play as Munchie was munching away at the health bars of Team A. The second dragon has spawned. 2 Drakes in 20 minutes is a very slow pace, and still, neither team really seems that interested in the Drakes. It's more about the items that we're getting online, scaling with this double rower mid laners, and getting some important crit items on these 80 carries.
And keep in mind the build. Munchie has gone for the Trinity Force, which is going to give you the DPS in the long con against someone like Xin Zhao. Like, it's already bad enough that he's stealing your AD, but the fact that, you know, he's proccing that Sheen quite often, he's getting the movement speed off of the phage aspect of it. That's already kind of brutal. Sundered Sky is very front-loaded with the way it works. So The item being built there going to work out pretty decently well for Munchie. As look at this man, nom 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 nom. He's just biting everything on the rift.
Every camp is his right now. Mid tower will go down, so Team B slowly finding these wins. But Team A, maybe another tower here. And me a dive as well.
Woo! Public execution. Gonna miss thanks to the flash, but oh god, Ariana, you're doomed. You're doomed. It's all doomed. It's all dead. It's not looking good. This is what we were expecting, and now that K is finally online, the Gambessa can perform as the expectations do match. Now Kizno coming over here towards the top side, looking for 5 mini gravitational field. Not in the right spot to stop Kizno from doing his onslaught. You can see right there on the back line, Asila looking to help out, but Kizno knowing better. If you go too deep into that fight, there is a counteroffensive that can bite back.
No top laner means that it's hard for Team B to walk in around this Atacama. But Team A not feeling confident. Their top laner is also in the bot side. No TP on Key, so it would be a 4v4 around this Atacama with the base coming out from Key now, pathing up to the mid lane and the top lane as well from Zinzao. I imagine that this Atacama is in the thoughts of Team A, but Key actually deciding to go back down to the bot side, so does have TP up soon. Maybe opting to play still a very slow game. 22 minutes in, we've only taken 2 Drakes. This Atacama is now getting looked at by Team B. You mentioned how fast this Trundle can burst down this objective with Triforce. Might be looking to do that right now.
There's so much credit over to K. He's been playing phenomenally so far. I know he was picked up by Dark Zero, and it was big shoes to fill when you're looking to try and perform for the squad, considering you're following through with the performances that we had out of Zamudo, of all players. But able to, even though it wasn't the best season for Dark Zero, he was still able to look decently good throughout it and show a lot of growth, show a lot of potential. And you can see the itemization, always going to be smart to grab that Black Cleaver when you're facing a tank like the Ornn, to allow you to actually get through a lot of those defenses. And it's paying off so far as we get deeper and deeper in this mid game.
Looks like we might be starting up the Atacama here. Can't exactly see. Yeah, here we go. Starting up the Atacama. What's the response here from Team A? Key does have TP, but this isn't on Vision.
Are you going to grow or are you going to throw? This is today's game show. Cue up the music, producer. No, you don't have it?
No,
it's okay.
The show was cancelled, unfortunately. Show was cancelled. I mean, there was a bit of controversy with some of the actors, and we had to cancel the show. Maybe look for a reboot at some point, but so Munchie's walking in here, fights off, and that's his camp. Still his camp. Every camp is the Trundles, if he so bees it, so wills it into existence. But Kizno's did a really good job this game of not really suffering that much. I mean, there was that fighter on the bot lane, sure, but his CS is maintained fine. He's the even in items, pretty much even in items. And the only real scary thing here is now the 2 Drakes that Team B have got. And yes, it's going to be a really late soul. It's going to be 30 minutes before soul's taken, and that's if Team B get all 4. But I mean, this Trundle seems pretty interested in trying again up on this Atacama, clearing out some vision. There are TPs available, as 5 mini might be caught, gets knocked up, and Kizno has to walk away.
Yeah, the gravity field is so good at providing some level of self-pill for a Victor. So 5 mini, taking advantage of that, Kizno knowing that he can't stay in without getting stunned up. So he's going to be real dangerous. Now here comes Tempered Fate, lands on Kizno, looking to munch on in and find another bite of Kizno, but Kizno putting out the Crescent Guard will block a lot of the damage, looking to be found. K teleporting in off the sidelines. Now looking for an angle with the public execution. Would love to grab mobility, would love to grab 5 mini. In the blink of an eye, that public execution go off. So Team B got to be very careful and keep a close eye on where this Ambissa's positioning is at. Also, the Nico having flash up. Pop Blossom is going to be a huge threat. Looking to come in. Shockwave available. Gets used as well as the Pop Blossom. It is so damn big from Minui. And the follow-up from Team A will find everything they could ask for as they'll claim 3 against Team B.
Keep your eyes on this support because he just won the game.
Minui, fantastic player, swapped out from the ADC role, teaming up with Asila, getting that shockwave, seizing the opportunity. It is a big play, and because of that, Team A will be wearing purple. And they even have on the same side of the map, are you kidding me, an Otacon they can grab? They're cashing in, they just won the lottery.
I mean, this is why I love the Nico, as the Tempered Fate will buy a small moment here, but this is going over to Team A for free, is that at any moment, this Nico can change the entire game. Team B felt so in control. I was going to talk about how great that look onto Kizno was. You force out his ult, you back away, you force out the TP from Key. You're in such a great position now. You force some really important tools out of the Xingqiao. He's no longer survivable. And then bang, Shockwave hits 2. Minuai is ready to go. I would love to hear the comms in that fight. And now a ballooned gold lead, 4,000. It is sole point for Team B if they're able to get this as a TP comes in from Ariana.
Here we go, looking for the counteroffensive once more is going to be Team A. Now hopping in, they got to watch out for that Shockwave, watch out for the ball placement. 5mini getting chased on by K. K following through, Shockwave lands onto 2, over the wall, jumping out with the Blast Plant, now following through. Pop Blossom is not enough. Mobility will get the kill back. Things are looking bad for Team A. As quickly as they claimed it, it all falls to pieces. 5mini escaping by the skin of his teeth. It's a 2-for-1 trade. It's not the end of the world, but you're a jungler down for this Dragon contest.
Both junglers are down as well, so neither team feels confident to pull this dragon. Asila is still alive, so that's so much damage in the backline and so much range from this Orianna. Tristana as well, getting that range online with levels and levels on this champion. But with both junglers down, we're going to see it reset and most likely come straight back out for a round 2. Let's take a quick check-in to see what is down. Crucially, Flash on Yunara no longer available. Asila still has his Flash. Kizno and Munchie also no Flash. In fact, if I take a look here, the only Flash available is Asila. The Nico Flash is still quite a while away, so you'll have to find some really creative flank angles to get another Pop Blossom like we saw before.
Now that Shockwave is going to be the big cooldown that I'll be watching. For Asila, having that available, there's so many places you can place the ball. You don't even specifically need a ball delivery system. Sometimes, as I said earlier in the draft, people tend to be drawn towards movement. And if you keep that ball still for a long time, you could very well slip up on where it's being placed. Now looking for the Ornhorn over into the mid lane. Flash coming out from Asila to get him to safety. Team A will be able to take a tower nonetheless over in that bottom side. It is the tier 2. Ariana having to deal once again with that Ambessa. And the only way you're going to win that trade is with the help of the turret itself. Another tower goes down, tier 2 in the mid lane, now getting taken. Team A, they were able to save 3 of those Baron buffs, and they're still using them quite well as they'll push right into the base of Team B.
And now you're pretty easily able to walk straight back down to Drake, but look at Munchie. He's behind. He's opting to go back into the mid lane, play a bit more of a safe path. There's the Pop Blossom again.
Gets the Pop Blossom, but it's only on to Rovex. That's a big cooldown that's going to be down. Sushi trying to take advantage of it, wants to find Ariana. Ariana's tanky. Shockwave lands onto nothing. So many tools are down for Team A. So looking for the attack will be Team B. The laser landing, a lot of poke going through the... Ooh, the pillar will find a bit of slow onto Team A's retreat. Now they're looking for K. K's been slowed down thanks to the Yanara. Going forwards, mobility. Mobility looking to seize the opportunity. Another pillar, another slow. Walking out as a full 5 unit is Team A. You can tell right now, Team B, this is their best chance, their best opportunity. Munchie's caught out. Gravity field goes down, but it's in a bad place. Munchie critically low. He has to bail. Coming back into the fight, it's going to be Ariana. He does have the Ornhorn available, but no fight to continue. Finally, Ornhorn called out. They're looking for Asila. They will find Asila stunned up and shut down into the clone. Tempered Fate finding nothing. The rest of Team B playing this low and slow. They're looking for the slow cooker, but they can't grab anything else on the back line. Team A, a very cautious retreat, still loses them 1, and Team B will get the dragon for it.
Yeah, huge soul point now for Team B. Chemtech Soul with an Ornn and a Trundle, very strong. as the waves do push into the mid, so Team B will need to base as the super minions crash against the Nexus turrets. But Baron in a minute, Soul in 5. And I mean, it's going late, sure, due to the fact that the first Drake was so late, but so far, Team A have had one magical fight and haven't been able to find that success again. Flash was used by Nico, so it will not be available for this upcoming Baron.
Yeah.
Again, you'll have to be creative with how you approach these fights.
And you have to question a lot of the target selection that we saw from Team A's side. You know, Sushi going in, he's firing on the Ornn. The Ornn's not going to die. That's a lot of armor that was built up by Ariana. Same thing with Minui. It was a very risky dive to go for, and you didn't get the targets that you really wanted to lock down. Kay had already used the public execution to try and dive Ariana prior to that fight. So once you lost all of those, you didn't have a chance to really take the fight back, and that's why Team B kept pushing for a follow-up, and still going to be in the back end of this as they are down 4K gold. Now it's a good time for Team A to reset and see if they can take it back on the map.
Comes the Ornn.
Yeah, Ornhorn going to be found, pushed away. Still lands onto a Sela. Sela's going to be A-okay, though. Here comes the Pop Blossom, one more, able to land onto 2, looking for 1 kill, finds it onto 5. Mini, Kizno will claim that. Mobility needs to get checked, though, and they're going after Sushi. Kizno finds the Inara! Team A will force the fight they've been looking for! And Kay says, you're not getting away from me. Actually, you are, because you're a bard. You'll just portal away. Hey, that's okay, but I'm going to go take your base in the grand scheme of things. Team A back to back wins to close out this day.
And backs against the wall in this game, because the only fight you won this entire game was a 5v5 ARAM style fight and a beautiful Pop Blossom. As Team B, you have to identify that. The only other fight you lost was a 5v5 ARAM in mid where you're caught by Shockwave and Pop Blossom again. Kizno finds the Yanara, and it should not have been a 3-0 day. Team B had that game in the bag. The Soul Point, so much damage from Fire Mini that game, but Team A get it done.
They were still behind, though. That was the hardest thing for Team B to actually come back from. If they were able to find that team fight on the tail end of that botched dive from Team A, that could have been the big point where momentum was on their side and they can start looking for more. But the thing is, when you force out a lot of these plays and you're not getting them the way you want, like in that last fight, Ariana, sure, the Ornhorn hit the Oriana. Guess what? No one's within range to actually capitalize on that. So a lot of this communication, it needs to come through for this team to find the success they're looking for.
I have to say, still, Sushi and Minui playing exceptionally well in the spot lane. I am super excited to continue to see them through the remainder of this week. And obviously, as we get into the 26th season, very exciting stuff. But I think Team A had really solid game plans every game.
Yeah.
That was a tough one with the Trundle. Trundle was a great pickup here against the Xin Zhao. It really put a spanner in the works, but I think that this Nico is a massive pick for Minui. Sushi just very comfortable in AD carry, and he had a really good game as well.
By the way, funny thing to point out, Bard 406 didn't die. This is where you just like spam missing ping towards the entirety of your team and be like, team diff, what's going on? Why am I in Elo hell? I mean, Rovex, I think that was the saddest thing about this matchup is Rovex got so many kills, and those kills, that gold could have done a lot of work if it was allocated elsewhere. You know, that could have been that final item completed, the Spirit Visage completed for the Trundle, for example, right? The Thorn Mail completed for the Ornn. There's a lot of stuff that went like undone on the side of Team B. And it's a pretty brutal loss, but they definitely did show a lot of potential at the end of things, you know, being able to hand some of those early stages quite well and still managing the dive on the top lane after, you know, things went kind of awry with Ariana being able to counter that dive coming through and still be in the right place, right time, shows you that they have the macro sense. But just coming together as a full five unit, fortunately, didn't work out for them. And it's all the props in the world for Team A, especially K. I do think K was a big standout on this one. I know we gave a lot of praise to Minui, but K, a player that's been developing, plays from the LATAM region, and
Hmm.
another player that was picked up by Dark Zero, who is affiliated with that Maryville program that we know so much in Collegiate, being able to shine through and handle this orange situation that was botched rather early. I do give some commendations to the resilience of K from that play.
I mean, the drafting as well. It's very interesting to talk about. In previous weeks, we've been having the world's drafts, and that's a different can of fish to get into and how that changes scouting. But in this game, in this system, sorry, and it was last week as well, you're very limited. You're very limited in what you can play. And honestly, it's what you bring out in despite of that that really shines you through as a good player. It's these, one allowed champions, the Tristana, it was the Zyra, the Swain, right? And then how you play these champions. There's a reason that you're only being allowed to play these champions because people want to see you on these champions and how you perform. And I think that being able to step up on the most meta champions for everybody in this game. Fire Mini pulling
Yeah.
bans every game, pulling the Azir ban every game. I watched his Azir. It was so good. Very playmaking and shutting him out of this game. I think that Team B, despite the losses, showed a lot of resilience in those games that you were talking about. It's really important to show that in games, especially like game two. How do you perform when you're like that? This is, not going to be the team that is built, but individual players, how are your comms looking like? We were talking in the break about how Cedo has the comms released or that you can look into if you're scouting for one of these players, which is massive. Those are all
Yeah.
really important things when looking for players. How do they play these meta things? When a coach says, this is the strongest thing, how do you look on it? How do you look on the not meta things, the Zyra, the Swain? Can you pull out these picks, these pocket picks that change the game in your favor, and how well can you do that? And then how well can you perform when you're ahead versus how do you handle the pressure of being scouted while losing? Because you can still be scouted, have a great performance while losing, but it comes down to that resilience like you touched on.
Yeah. Playing from behind is a skill that's very important within competitive League of Legends because games, a lot of teams, they like to forfeit when things get too far behind. But when you're actually in a competitive match, whether it be NACL, LCS, or even ACL for that matter,
Yeah.
it still matters a lot to be able to see that through and try and find comeback methods. I do think Team B put a good effort at that. And there's still a lot they can take away from it. But man, what a stellar day for Team A. Sushi, Minui, K all had standout performances. That shockwave from Sela was fantastic to set up what was a very nasty engage coming out from Team A's way. Kisno's always on fire. It's a lot of fun to see these combines and see the development of what these players are looking to bring coming into the next season of Tier 2 League of Legends. And that's the goal of this entire combine, to show that potential, to put it all on display, and have a great time while doing it. Well, we are going to be closing out right now. Jay Beto, I want to know, you got any closing thoughts, brother?
My closing thoughts are, I mean, like you said, you showed us that tweet talking about even EU could be scouting some of these players. So
Yeah,
I
you
hope
took
all
JoJo
these
from us,
players.
man.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look, I got no stakes in the EU NA. I'm not a part of that at all. So I just like watching from down here in Australia. But I hope all these players find great homes. I hope they have really good careers in the next season. Again, I think the 26th season, I'm super excited for it in every region. And hope to see some of these names in the LCS or the LEC one day. That would be really, really awesome. I'm super excited. Tomorrow, I'll be here again looking at Sushi and Minowai. How are they going to continue on for the rest of the week?
All right, so we got to give thanks, of course, to you guys, the coaching staff, all the players that took part of it. Shout out to Loki. Make sure to hire her, man, because she actually listens to her casters and pulling up the right information at the right time. I've been Desrix. This has been Jay Beto, and we'll see you tomorrow for more of the Cyto.gg Scouting Combine.